Hello and welcome to We Want Picks. Jacob, his favorite fight in the card dropped. He's in a miserable mood, but we're going to try to pull him out of that gutter, and we're going to break down the entire UFC 288 fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. Very quickly, we're coming off a very successful UFC Vegas 72. Jacob's up money.
That'll get me going.
There you go.
Seeing
Jacob's up money.
Week.
I'm up money. Jacob's lock of the week hit, third in a row. The prize picks hit, underdog fantasy hit, the safety parlay hit, everything did pretty well at UFC Vegas 72. And on the right, you're going to see the safety parlay is up 6.7 units in 2023 alone. It hits at a 70% rate. So if you're a premium member for $10 a month, you don't need to do a single thing other than you scared the shit out of me.
Wow.
She's just standing right next to me. I fed him.
Appreciate you. Just
oh my god!
Big pay-per-view, 288. This is gonna have extra views on it, and the video's fucking ruined.
Dude, I'm going through, and you just sense somebody's in the room, and Tiffany's just standing there.
Is she still
towering
there?
over
Get
me.
out of here!
No, she left.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's what I thought.
It hits at a 70% clip. So if the only thing you ever did was log in, look at the safety parlay, tail it. It's not going to hit every single week, but it will hit 70% of the time and do more than cover that premium membership at WeWantPicks.com. This is what pay-per-views have looked like for Jacob and I. Overall, as a channel, we are way up on the year. Pay-per-view specifically, I like to highlight because that's when a lot of people come out of the woodwork. A lot of people only watch the pay-per-view. So they show up, they watch these videos, they want to know how we've done. UFC 287, Jakey Boy went down in flames.
Was that my
fault? I was up units at UFC 287, and you were down like 18.
What about the last three in green there? I think that was my fault too. So it all evens out. And then
you are Jakey Boy. Jakey Boy is a feast or famine kind of guy. Anyway,
I don't think this is going to be a normal pay-per-view for me as far as because usually like on 287, I think I had almost $3,000 or 30 units on that card alone. I think this one I'm gonna be a little bit more tame.
I hear you. Overall, we do very well on pay-per-views. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pay-per-views on the year. Lost money on 2, made good money on 3 of them. Overall, things are well on these pay-per-views. 23% net profit for those events. And if you want some money, speaking of profit, I'll line your pockets. I will send you $50. The only thing you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 4 different betting partners. Use our link to sign up with any one of them, and I'll send you $50 as a thank you. It's really that simple. Just sign up using our link, make a deposit, and we send you $50. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you want that. It's affiliate marketing.
Yeah, it's a shame Bryce can't use that, huh? He's gonna need.
He might need that $50. He might need that $50. He might need that $50. But that's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. They're going to say thank you, and I'm going to take a piece of that and I'll give it back to you because regardless of how you feel about me, I'm out here looking out for the community. We're the only people giving you money. Who else is giving away money for the support? Everybody else is like, please do this, and nothing in return. I'm saying, hey, do this, and I'll thank you with a couple of bucks, 50. In fact, we talk a lot about the bets. It's not just copy-paste bets. We also have incredible tools and information to help you find your spots, including the line movement tracker. 2 people this week have massive line movement. Parker Porter plus 148 to minus 180. That's a ridiculous swing.
Attaboy, Parker.
Kennedy Nzechukwu has Kennedy Nzechukwu has very, very similar line movement as well. So a couple of wild swings on this card. You can see all of that at WeWantPicks.com when you're a premium member. We also have data, metrics, analytics,
shit,
38
this just doesn't
columns.
stop.
No, this is a infomercial. You don't complain when I pay you. Occasionally.
It took a while for that.
Yeah.
That was my 50. I got my $50, guys.
WeWantPicks.com. Sign up, become a member. It's freaking $10 a month. The amount of value that you get is absolutely... Go find somebody else that has anything like this. And we'll go ahead and add some features for you. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's $10 a month. We now accept credit cards.
Oh, God. Another slide.
That's it. Let's go ahead and break down these cards. You know what I'm disappointed about? First of all, we have the best graphics in the game, period. Nobody had graphics. Actually, Fight Night Picks had graphics. We have graphics better than theirs, in my opinion. then nobody else had graphics. There have been people that have been doing this for 5 years. No graphics whatsoever. They saw our success. In 2 years, we're almost at 13,000 subscribers with 2,000 premium members in 2 years. They're over there. They saw that. They're like, okay, let me try to take what works. They're putting up graphics. I swear to God, it looks like my daughter did them in Microsoft Paint. We have the best graphics on the planet.
Do they have Microsoft Paint anymore?
Those graphics, according to those graphics, they do. The point of this was, I was very disappointed in this week's graphics because anytime the UFC travels, I use the state flag as the backdrop.
Look, I was wondering what the fuck that was.
The New Jersey state flag is some orange turd. It sucks.
Yeah, I've never seen that before in my life.
No, it sucks. It sucks. I wanted some real color, some pop. When they were in Miami, that was a nice backdrop.
I actually thought it was just gold, colorful. Like you did like the pay-per-view. Like I switch all the thumbnails to gold, like that and stuff like that. But
no, it's their stupid Jersey flag. It sucks. I haven't done the graphics yet for UFC Charlotte, but let's hope they got some better colors. Anyway, let's go ahead and break down this card. Opening up, UFC 288, we have Daniel Santos taking on Johnny Munoz Jr., former lock of the week. What an embarrassing lock of the week that was.
Why don't you treat Daniel Santos with a little bit more respect and call him by his name?
Oh, what is it?
Willie Cat, baby.
Yeah, Willie, what is it? Yeah.
Willie Cat, baby.
Anyway, Daniel Santos, 10-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off his first UFC win. He's taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. He's 12-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5 as well, alternating wins and losses. And Daniel Santos, I compared him to basically Charles Oliveira. He's an old school shoot-a-box kind of guy. He is that violent style striker who plots forward, real tight hands. He hits the pocket, he explodes with power and speed, but he also gets dropped. And exactly like Charles Oliveira, he pops right back up like nothing happened and then goes to work.
It's remarkable. It really is remarkable. Because Charles will lay on his back for a little bit, but Santos is just whoop.
It's like nothing. It's almost like it's all just trips. It's like nothing happens. He pops right back up. But he's got really solid BJJ from bottom. My only issue with his BJJ is old school. It's like 1996 BJJ where he'll play that game. He'll throw up arm bars. He'll play that game instead of just creating a scramble and getting the hell out of there. So you get a good wrestler that could hold Daniel Santos down, but I don't see that happening here because we got Johnny Munoz Jr. He is a BJJ black belt. He's got decent striking. He does throw everything with 100% intent, but the striking's a little sloppy, and it's really there just to get those takedowns. His takedowns are not great. He does average 2 per fight, but only has a 25% accuracy. But what I do really like about him is his grappling fight IQ. In his last fight, you see him in scrambles, and he's working, and it was actually with Ludovic Shalinian. He's working through that scramble. He was about to be put on his back, and instead of sticking with it, he said, forget it, abandoned the entire thing, and stood up. And that's just really solid fight IQ, like knowing when to bail. And actually, as a wrestling coach on the side of the mat, we're yelling bail all the time. Hanging on to something too long. Once a coach, always a coach kind of thing.
I was a coach too, so.
Okay, of what sport? Gender and sport. I would like gender and sport.
I would say one
please.
of the most demanding sports on earth is what I would say.
Okay, so please the gender and the sport.
It's tough. I mean, it really is a tough one. It is so tough that you have to wear padding while you play it, and it's not football.
Live chat. Why don't you vote and what you think he coached, and if he doesn't let you know, I will. Anyway, I think Daniel Santos wins this fight. It is a little bit of a tough call because Daniel Santos is going to have the very, very clear striking advantage. Johnny will probably have a little bit of a wrestling advantage. The raw BJJ should be about equal, except Daniel Santos might be playing around trying to get submissions while Johnny's going to be on top getting work done. I do think Daniel Santos is going to get it done. I think he's going to come forward, bomb away. We've seen Johnny Munoz get put out. Daniel Santos is the type of guy that can do that. So I do think Daniel Santos will get this done. He's absolutely the pick, and I like him in this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I think you still need a mouse pad, and people that are saying chess is actually pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Girls Chess Club is pretty funny, but you don't have to wear armor in that. It was high school women's volleyball. They wear knee pads because it's a very dangerous sport. So I don't know why that's funny. Women are athletes too, Angelo.
What a fucking stupid sport for a dude to coach.
Well, women are athletes too, and I support women in general. I mean, in athletics, in politics, in the workplace. I am a fighter for equality. I am a fighter for breaking that glass ceiling. I am against all sexual assaults. I am just a cheerleader for women, and that's who I am. And I'm not sad to say it.
Why don't you cheer your way into who you think wins this fight?
Women make the world more beautiful. I couldn't say it any better myself. Yeah, I'm like you said, Johnny Munoz Jr., former lock of the week. My lock of the weeks I know better than most people. I guarantee I know Johnny Munoz Jr. better than anyone that's going to watch this video. And let me tell you, on the ground, dangerous dude. Angelo nailed it. He's very knowledgeable on the ground. He knows where to be, where not to be, and he's very dangerous in the jiu-jitsu game. The issue is Willie Cat is also very dangerous and knows what he's doing on the ground too. And I believe that Willie Cat is a better wrestler than Johnny Munoz as well. He wanted to kind of show that off in his last fight. He had a couple takedowns and this and that, but I think if he wants to shoot offensive takedowns, I think he can stay safe versus Johnny Munoz Jr., but he should keep this standing because his striking advantage in this fight is way above that of Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz Jr. is a jiu-jitsu nerd. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be on the ground. And yes, he has this kind of rangy striking. He looked good in his last fight because that guy was just an all-in wrestler, basically, that just kind of isn't a good striker, just kind of wants to throw power. So Johnny was able to do in and out and stuff. But when you see somebody get in his face and kind of blitz him with shots, he is kind of just head back, eyes closed, and let me just get the hell out of there. He does not like pressure in his face, and that's exactly how Willie Cat fights. And Willie Cat will get in your face and throw power, and when he lands shots, he will absolutely drop Johnny Munoz Jr., who, when he was my lock of the week, was the most embarrassing lock of the week of all time. Got hit by a 1-inch punch by Tony Gravely. Tony Gravely threw it from here, landed it to here, and put him completely out. Willie Cat can do the exact same thing. The pressure's going to be too much in the striking. Johnny Munoz Jr. is this is one of my higher plays on the card in Willie Cat for sure, and the premium members know that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Johnny Munoz Jr., a bit of a dud. You got quite a bit going on for premium. I don't mean bit of a dud. That's actually not true.
Yeah, that was a little bit disrespectful.
He's pretty slick on the ground, and he does have power in his hands. But I do think the technical striking of Daniel Santos and the power, the wildness, I do think that's going to be the difference here. So we're both on a Daniel Santos side. I think $8,400 is a great price point because I think he can win by finish, and at $8,400, that's really solid value in DraftKings. You're gonna throw him in your lineup, Jakey boy.
Yeah, and I got that line. If premium members, I got that line. I mean, I'll tell you, I put a money line bet on him. I got it for -137 for Willie Cat on Sunday. That's why you got to become a premium member. Link your Discord, get the alert.
Yeah, for some reason I updated the line movement here. Best fight odds showed it at -170 open. But BetOnline did have it earlier for a much lower number. So I don't know where BetOnline got that from, Best Fight.
It was 147. Apologies. I think I said 37, but it was 147.
Yeah, and you posted it in the Discord, so no big deal. Anyway, we're both on the same side here. If you want to check out the line movement tracker, all of Jacob's bets, my bets, Artem's bets, there's a huge 1FC event this weekend as well. Artem has a full breakdown for that. All of it is an premium membership at weonpicks.com. Just click become a member. It's only $10 a month.
Did you miss those earlier donations?
I missed all the donations. Let's go ahead and hit those now.
Because Gabe, I
got it all,
message.
Baby.
Oh, there we go. It says retracted on YouTube. I don't know why, so thank God you still have it.
He sucked his money back. $10 from Gabe Gordon. Jacob, your locks of the week are 100% with a fire emoji. Thank you very much, Gabe Gordon. 3 in a row. 2 of them were +170, +180. Those are phenomenal numbers.
We got a good one this week, too. Last second change.
Quint Lazenby up 50 units in April. Premium pays for itself. Congratulations, Quint.
Yeah,
it's about time to update those units. I've been saying that because you say it every week.
Well, I can't wish a guy happy birthday. What's wrong with
that? But you should up your units. If you're up 50, your units should be fluid. And then we have another one. Boop-a-doo. Scroll my way down. We have $2.99 from Giddy Up. Y'all ain't watching the Knicks right now? No. And then, thank you very much.
Are you a Knicks
Phantom,
fan?
Me? I wasn't.
Hate the Knicks.
I wasn't really a huge basketball fan. I've seen some Knicks games, obviously.
Oh my god, because I'm obviously a Pacers fan, and those '90s series, holy shit! John Starks and Charles Oakley.
I hear you.
Patrick Ewing, what a piece of shit.
Congratulations. CHF 690 from Phantom. I don't know what that is, but thank you very much. So no fight companion this weekend because Angelo finally managed to make Jacob feel guilty about not spending time with him. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Thank you for the CHF.
A lot of crying on the phone the other night from Angelo. I mean, he was like, everything I do for you, and why don't you love me, and this and that, and I do everything for you, and you just
I make good money.
Yeah, that was the last straw. That was the one that Angelo was like, I make good money. I don't know why I make so much money. I was like, whoa. I didn't know that. You know, let me head over and see what that's all about.
You gotta buy your friends. You buy your friends.
Like I said, we hungry. You know what that's from?
No.
You should.
Okay.
I think it's Too Fast, Too Furious. Tyrese is talking to that guy. Like I said, we hungry.
Okay. Next up. At UFC 288, we have Jacob's biggest fan, Joseph Holmes, taking on Claudio Ribeiro. Joseph Holmes is 8-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Jun Young Park. He's taking on Claudio Ribeiro. Who's 10. I'm surprised you didn't wear that hat. Who's 10-3 overall, 4-1 in his. Go get that hat right now. 4-1 in his last 5.
I'll get the tweet up right now. That's what I was doing.
You should wear the hat because we tweet these at the fight.
Yeah, you can't really.
All right, well, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a KO loss in his UFC debut. Joseph Holmes is massive. The dude is 6'4", 80-inch reach, but he doesn't really use his reach that well. He can be a low-volume guy, but when he does engage, he likes to stick and move until he can sort of wrap you up, drag you to the ground. On the ground, he's a solid brown belt. He controls pretty well. And I mentioned he's coming off that loss to Jun Young Park where he actually looked solid on his feet, but just had nothing to offer after getting taken down. He's taken on
his Twitter.
You don't have screenshots of it?
Oh my god, if he actually deleted Twitter, or maybe he's got me blocked. Imagine he has me blocked.
He might have you blocked. Claudio Ribeiro is an insanely powerful striker. He can put you out with his hands while marching forward and just bombing away. You'd think you could take him down, but he actually has decent takedown defense and really doesn't care if you're going to shoot on him. He's the epitome. I've said this every time we break him down. He's the epitome of implementing his game plan. He's not worried about what you're going to do. He's worried about what he's going to do, and that's come forward and throw absolute bombs. He has really good hips to defend against takedowns, and then if he does get taken down, he works his way back to his feet pretty quickly. He is coming off that loss to Abdul Razak Al Hassan, where he looked actually good. He had fast. Like, everything he did was fast. He was powerful. He had great low kicks. Ultimately, and his takedown defense ultimately, held up, but ultimately he was put out by an incredibly hard hitter. Joseph Holmes is not that incredibly hard hitter. Joseph is long. He's lanky. His only path to victory here is going to be to close the distance, avoid the power, and drag Claudio to the ground. And if he's able to do that, he can win this fight. I just don't see him being able to do that. If Claudio had wrestling in his back pocket, I actually would load up on this dude. But he doesn't have it, and there is a world where he's just sort of taken down and leaned on. I don't really see it happening, though. I think Claudio is going to get it done, but Joseph Holmes he's tougher than Jacob's about to make him sound. And Jacob, why don't you go ahead and give him the background?
So before his last fight, in that breakdown of the Jun Young Park fight, I basically said that both these guys are not at the level of everyone else. I use the word sucks, right? But I say everyone sucks. If you're in the Discord with me, I'm like, oh, Leon's like, this guy sucks, this guy sucks. So I was like, these guys suck. It is what it is. And I didn't even say it specifically about him. I did pick against him, obviously. So I was like, he sucks worse than this guy, but they both kind of suck. So, and obviously you post this to Twitter and you tag all the fighters because we're not trying to hide anything from anyone. And he responded. And a lot of fighters respond all the times. Like Cody Durden said, Jacob, I'm going to make you eat your words against Motto. I mean, we had a lot of responses, both good and bad. But this is the first time I got threatened by a fighter. He said, tell your boy Jacob, yeah, I will beat you up as disrespectful as you're being, kiddo. He doesn't need to be on any podcast. Not because his opinion, but because everyone has one. But he's choosing to talk about people putting their entire lives on the line to do this. So he kind of messed up the grammar there a little bit. But basically he said, yeah, he's gonna beat the shit out of me for saying that he sucked. And then what happened was he went out there and just completely sucked. I mean, he had a little bit of success in the first round, but then he gets absolutely finished in that fight, only backing up my claim in that breakdown. So in this breakdown, I'm gonna say the same thing. I think this guy is not on the UFC type level. He is a long, rangy striker that can do some things on the ground, but he doesn't have the explosion, the speed, or the athleticism in this fight that he's going to need against Claudio, because Claudio will swing for the goddamn fences, and Joseph Holmes is not quick enough in his footwork or his head movement to avoid those shots. He's going to get cracked, and if he can survive and maybe it goes to the ground, he can win a scrambler. I agree with you, there is a path to victory for Joseph in the fight. He needs to find a way to get on top and get the back and grapple Claudio, but I think Claudio's going to be way too quick. He's going to see some telegraph shots from Joseph and have a big right hand or a big left hand waiting. That dude swings. That dude, yeah, he's a little bit terrifying when he starts swinging those fists around, and I think he's going to knock Joseph Holmes out.
Yeah, he's super dangerous. People keep asking what the hat says. Jacob took that tweet.
Yeah,
and then screen printed it on a hat
and put it on a hat. So it's literally just this tweet right there, and then I literally just put it on the tweet. You can see the tweet there.
Yeah, we got it.
No. And I mean, yeah, you're gonna beat me up. I would hope so. You're a professional fighter. It's like, what kind of threat? It's like, what kind of threat is that I'm gonna beat you up? Yeah, that's what you trained to do. It's like, I played golf my whole life. What do you want from me?
I mean, the kid teaches girls volleyball.
But I do have that snap, man. I'll fuck him up on the volleyball court. I'll fuck him up.
No, you won't. He's 6'4". You're 5'7".
I don't give a shit. On a girl's net, I'll fuck him up. On a girl's net, because that's all I played on, because I would scrimmage the girls and stuff in practice. So on girls net, I used to, when I would go up and block, because I can jump pretty high. I don't know if I can anymore, but I could dunk back in the day. But when I would jump, I would get my face hit when they would spike.
Awesome. We're both on the Claudio Ribeiro side. You're going to spend the $8,900 in DraftKings? Spitefully?
There's a lot of people that I like in DraftKings, so we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, I've been having some great success in DraftKings lately. Won our league 3 weeks in a row. Looking fantastic doing it as well. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I don't know if I am going to spend it. I do think Claudio Ribeiro wins, and certainly if he wins, he's going to earn a ton of points. But I am a little nervous here. I'm not all in on Claudio Ribeiro, hence no bets on him. I'm just sort of leaving this one alone, because I do think Joseph Holmes is better than you are making him sound. So yeah. Anyway, if you want to see all the stuff that Jacob did out of spite, check out WeWantPicks.com. Become a premium member. You'll unlock the picks, the bets, the DraftKings optimizer, the DraftKings ownership, which we literally have the best ownership in the game. All the things for only $10 an entire month, and a month includes all the events. WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member.
It is a great mustache, though. I will give him that. It is a great mustache.
We have a $2.99 from Giddy Up, and he said, "You see embedded? What the F was that on Bryce's shoulder?"
I don't know, but I pray to God he's okay. I hope that fight doesn't get canceled, because he's my lock of the week. A little spoiler there, but I hope that fight doesn't get canceled. Holy shit. Imagine, because last week I had Pete Rodriguez and that got canceled. Remember when we had like 3 weeks in a row when lock of the week fight kept dropping? Imagine if the Bryce Mitchell fight dropped. Could you imagine if that dropped?
That would suck.
I wouldn't be able to believe it. I wouldn't believe it, because he is my lock of the week. So if it drops, I'm gonna be absolutely heartbroken.
I just hope if it drops, it's before you edit a whole video about it.
Right, yeah, because I did. Really... I worked hard on the Bryce Mitchell montage today, Kid Rock music, all the highlights, went into the deep dive of how he's just going to steamroll Evolov. So if that fight drops, I'm going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see in a couple of slides here what happens, but I think you're good.
Everyone's like, it did get canceled. Yeah, I know. I was just joking, guys. Jesus. Thank you, though. Holy shit.
Next up at UFC 288, we have Zhalgas Zhumagulov coming out of his fake retirement to take on Rafael Estevam. Did you laugh at that?
No, we even got a donation out of it. Bryce is out. Dollar night. Guys, I know. I promise I know. I've been very annoyed about it.
Well, Zhalgas Zhumagulov is 14-8 overall, 1-4 in his last 5, coming off 2 controversial split decisions in a row. And that is going to be a theme here. He's taking on Rafael Estevam, 11-0. He's undefeated in his career with 7 stoppages. Zhalgas Zhumagulov, he's just a grinder. He's not dangerous at anything, but he's going to come forward. He's going to grind. He's going to throw a bunch of punches. He does have some okay power. He's got very good wrestling. His goal is always to crowd you, drag you to the ground if he can. And the stats are deceiving because he does average a little more than 1 takedown per fight, but his percentage is ridiculous. It's 19% accuracy. I mention this every time we break down a fighter that's similar, right? Good amount of takedowns, really piss poor takedown percentages. That's just indicative of a chain wrestler, right? He's going to miss the first takedown, miss the second, but he's just going to stick with it, and eventually get those takedowns. And I think that's why judges hate his guts, because this guy comes forward with relentless pressure, doesn't stop, and he just keeps getting screwed in his decisions. This guy is 1-5 in the UFC, 4 of those being stupid close decisions. And if you just look at the stats, if you look at the stats of those fights, he's outstriking people, like just numbers wise, outstriking people, getting takedowns, getting control time. And to the cherry on the top of this poor guy's career, he's coming off
cherries. No cherry for me.
Coming
Extra
off
whipped
that
cream.
Split decision loss to Charles Johnson, where he had power, he had aggression, his striking stats were better, had a takedown. Do you know what the live odds were at the end of the third round? Like the fight closed, what the live odds were?
I mean, we've seen some wild live odds, but no.
Minus 1,200 for Zhalgas, and he lost a split decision. The judges hate this guy. They hate him. I think it's because he does look desperate. Like he just dives at legs, and like he does look. He gives off desperate
I was gonna
vibes.
say everything he does almost looks like a little frantic. I would say.
Yeah.
Like
No,
even
I
in his
completely agree.
striking, and his like defensive striking, everything looks a little bit like.
Yeah. You just did that stupid face and I looked at his graphic. Anyway, he's taking on Rafael Estevam, and like Zhalgas, he's a high-pressure guy. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw bombs, close the distance. He has no issues marching forward, just absolutely bombing and then looking for takedowns. His takedowns are sloppy, right? They're trips, they're drags. He's not really shooting doubles. He's just trying to get you against the cage and hopefully pull you to the ground. But once you are down, he does do an amazing job of just softening you. He will lay into you to like loosen you up, get you to move, and then try to pounce on a submission. Great back control, super dangerous guy. I've got to lean Estevam here. I've got to pick him. But man, I'm not touching this at all because you might get some like solid judges here because Zhalgas is super tough, right? He's got that one knockout.
New Jersey judges. When's the last time they had a UFC event? Decision fights are gonna get wild, man.
I mean, that could be. And this is most likely going to be a decision because Zhalgas is super tough. Rafael Estevam coming in, UFC debut. He might have an adrenaline dump. Like things may happen for him here. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how it happens. Estevam will be the pick because he's going to be younger, fresher. And frankly, if you remember, I made that joke in the beginning. Zhalgas retired. He lost to Charles Johnson. He's like, F this sport, F the judges. I keep getting screwed. I want nothing to do with this. I'm out of here. And then here he is just a few months later. So I think they're just in different career trajectories, different headspaces. I feel bad for Zhalgas. He goes out there, does everything he can to win these fights, but hasn't gone his way. And this one probably doesn't either, but no bet for me. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, I mean, that breakdown pretty much sums up everything I was going to say. And I will say that Rafael, that picture does not do him justice because he looks a little bit softer. That dude is not soft. That dude is ripped up. He's cut up. He's aggressive. I actually think his takedowns are a little bit better than you do, and that's how he's going to win this fight, right? He's going to push forward. And Zhalgas, to his credit, is good when he is moving forward, and he has to be moving forward in this fight because if he is backing up, he is susceptible to being taken down. Now, he does try to work back to his feet, and a lot of times he does get back to his feet, but against Rafael, he's just so strong, and as you mentioned, so good in those controlled top positions that I think that's how he win the fight. I agree. I think this is a decision fight. New Jersey judges, who knows what's going to happen, but I think Rafael is going to be the one pushing the pressure, getting the takedowns, and making Zhalgas work. So yes, Zhalgas Honestly, he's probably the better overall fighter. He's very good everywhere, as you mentioned. Decent power in his hands, has the aggression, but he can get outworked at times. And I think Rafael is a guy that's going to push the pace, push the pressure, and we'll see if maybe Rafael's gas tank gives up, and then Zhalgas comes in late second round with the pressure, wins the third round, and now all of a sudden we have one of those weird decisions that Zhalgas might lose again. So I feel bad for Zhalgas. He's a very well-rounded fighter. He could have been a guy in this division, but I mean he's about to be cut if he loses this one. Unfortunately, you just can't keep a guy like that.
Yeah, you can't.
He ain't Sam Alvey, baby.
Well, and that's the thing, because he's not entertaining. He works. I feel bad for him because a couple of those calls were screw jobs. Like his last fight was a straight up screw job. Like he absolutely. I mean, the live odds were minus 1,200. Anyway, DraftKings 8,300 to 79. I'm not touching the 83 because while Estevam should win this fight, Zhalgas is tough. He's not a guy you're just going to get out of there. So and Estevam doesn't have that one punch knockout power.
It could be. He could rattle up 7, 8 takedowns because Zhalgas is good enough to get back to his feet. You know, especially early, it could be just boom, 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 and those add up quick. So
well, he had 4 takedowns in his Contender Series fight, so that is a good point, and that is possible there. So yeah, I mean, an 8,300. You know what? I'm flipping.
You're gonna put him in?
Well, I didn't consider the takedown.
You're kind of a mess now. I've won 3 weeks in a row, and you're second guessing yourself. You don't know what's going on. You're trying to make deposits and won't let me make any more deposits. It's like you've made too many deposits.
I don't. You literally went from, hey, I'm not playing this week. I'm out of money. Then you made a deposit, and you've hit this incredible run. So
what are you talking out of money? Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me?
And what Jacob's talking about is our friends DraftKings League. It's just a couple of us fellas versus each other. But if you want to be friends with us, we'll consider it. Premium members only. And to become a premium member, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 a month. You'll unlock literally everything. It's also just a great way to show support, frankly. And we're going to do tons of giveaways and cool stuff. I'm still waiting on pricing for a very big event here in Dallas.
Ooh.
We don't have that pricing yet. Once we have that pricing, we're going to, most likely, I got to see the pricing, host an event and give away 1 or 2 tickets to premium members. Obviously, it'll be in Dallas. You got to figure that part out, but it will be worth your while. I just wait for that freaking pricing. Anyway, WeOwnPicks.com, $10 a month to become a premium member. And we have that $1.99 from John Doe letting you know that Bryce is out. Thank you very much for the $1.99.
But he donated again.
Yep, and Bryce is back in.
He's back, baby.
He did it. He did it. Jacob, your woes are gone. Your woes are gone. And Phil Lover in Dallas.
Phil Lover, huh?
Yep. Anyway. Next up, at UFC 288, we have American wrestler Phil Hawes taking on Russian wrestler Ikram Aliskerov. Phil Hawes, 12-4 overall. 3-2 in his last 5.
What?
I read the wrong thing. Coming off that loss to Roman Dolidze, he's taking on Ikram Aliskerov. It's a battle of the nations, Jacob. This is America versus Russia.
Well,
wrestler versus wrestler. Who's the better wrestler?
That should have been the Bryce fight.
Well, that's gone.
Arkansas wrestling is better than whatever the hell Phil Hawes
is. Sure. So anyway,
junior high wrestling that Phil Hawes has, whatever that is.
Aliskerov, 13-1 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5. His one and only loss in his career is to Khamzat Chimaev, which people love commenting. Dude, his only loss is to Khamzat. It's like, well, it's a loss, right? And he got finished.
I was going to say it wasn't like a back and forth. It wasn't a back and forth affair. It was a knockout in a minute 30 or something like that.
Yeah, no, people love saying this guy's a beast. He lost to Khamzat.
That is funny when people fight good people. It's like he's fought this and this and this. It's like if it's not a close fight, then who gives a shit?
He got finished by Khamzat. But anyway, he actually is very good. Ikram is a Russian wrestler. And he fights, you look at that beard, all beard, no mustache. You know exactly how this dude is going to fight. And that's how he fights. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's going to come forward, do everything possible to get those takedowns. Constant body locks, tie-ups, shots. When he gets you to the ground, he is impossible to shake. He's just going to latch onto you. He's really hard to get off. His striking is just okay. He's got just a real high guard, but he does have really nice long kicks, and he'll throw like a flying knee out of nowhere.
He did it like a Power Ranger.
Dude, my kids have been... my kids are obsessed. My youngest will walk around going, morphin' time, and then just do some stupid...
They know Power Rangers, really? That's still a thing?
It is. It's made a full comeback. They just came out with a new Power Rangers movie with the original cast, minus the red one because he's in prison for PPP.
I thought one just died.
No, he's in prison for PPP
I thought
fraud.
a Power Ranger just died. Or died
no,
recently.
he's in prison for PPP fraud.
I'm pretty sure one died. I saw like rest in peace stuff.
Well, for his asshole. Anyway, Phil Hawes. Phil Hawes is a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal athlete. He's powerful. He's explosive, both with his striking and his grappling. And his striking continues to improve. We're going to talk, he's got no chin. He's got no chin. I get it. I get it. The dude's been knocked out. He's been wobbled. He's been rocked. I get it. Let's put the chin stuff aside. His technique is solid. He was touching up Chris Curtis, no problem, before he got caught. And he does look good out there. He's fast. He's powerful. He's a Division I national champion wrestler that has accomplished everything that you could accomplish at that level. And he is coming off that loss to Roman Dolidze, where he was technically knocked out, but he literally was fighting with one leg, right? He had a sick duck under takedown. Soon as they hit
his toughness literally cost me a lot of money.
Because you wanted a submission.
It was a second round. I had second round submission for Roman Dolidze.
No, I think it was the first.
I think it's the second. But anyway, he popped his knee and didn't get submitted, and I lost that bet.
Yeah, his knee was absolutely destroyed. That is why he was TKO. He was just sort of bouncing around on his feet. But this is an interesting fight because the reality is they're both phenomenal wrestlers. Ikram has the international wrestling experience, right? If you go to his Wikipedia, Jacob shared it with me. You go to his Wikipedia, it's just international thing after international thing.
Sambo,
Phil Hawes,
baby. Sambo.
Yep. But those are different styles of wrestling. And those styles of wrestling actually translate well to MMA because it's tie-ups and trips and stuff like that instead of just shooting blast doubles. But it's going to be interesting because Phil Hawes is a phenomenal wrestler. And if Phil Hawes wants to implement the wrestling, I think he'll get the takedowns no problem, right? I think he will get those takedowns, shooting doubles, running through Ikram. If this fight stays striking, Phil Hawes will have a giant advantage. Chin aside, a huge advantage. The only concern here is if Ikram gets a takedown, I feel like Phil Hawes is going to be clueless off his back. I think he's going to have absolutely nothing to offer if he is taken down. But I'm interested in this fight. Listen, the reality is Ikram probably does win. But I got $20 on Phil Hawes, man. $20 for America. I just want to see this happen. I want him to come out there, wrestle hard. He is not getting the credit he deserves as an athlete, as a wrestler. And yes, he's got a couple of knockout losses. He can't control his chin, but you haven't seen him in a fight where he sucks. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing well, gets clipped. Has that nice takedown for Roman Dolidze, and then gets knee barred by a world champion grappler. That shit's going to happen. They gave him a wrestler. It's the first time we're going to see him versus a pure wrestler, and I hope he goes to those Iowa wrestling roots, gets those takedowns in, and runs through them. But the reality is he probably loses, but I do have a $20 bet at plus 175, literally for America. I did it for me. I want to root for him. I want him to win. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Ikram kind of looks like a New Jersey Russian. I mean, he's kind of got that New Jersey look to him with the curly hair.
Yeah, because it's curly.
He has that. Didn't Frankie Edgar grew that out, right? And it looks just like Frankie Edgar's hair when he grew it out. So he's sporting the New Jersey look here. And in my quick pick video, I literally said that if I was Phil Hawes, I have no idea why I signed on the dotted line versus a guy named Ikram. I mean, that is one of the most terrifying names I've ever heard. I'm going to fight a guy named Ikram, and he does exactly what you think a guy like Ikram would do, as you mentioned, with the Sambo techniques, and that translates so well into MMA. I think Sambo beats just American wrestling 10 out of 10 times, and I've never seen a guy coming up, besides Islam, that fights like Khabib in the way that he takes down and controls people. I mean, with the Dagestani handcuff and just his entries, because he is decent at striking and he can use his striking with his entries, where I think Islam and some other people can get a little bit desperate with their takedowns, even though they still can get them. I think that he sets up his takedowns really, really well, and once he gets them, his top control is very, very good. The issue is for this fight that gives me a little bit of a red flag is, as you mentioned, Phil, very well versed, can make him work in those takedown attempts, and I've seen fights where Ikram, second round, third round, even in fights that he's controlling, slows down a little bit, right? I mean, those takedowns are a little bit more labored. So if Phil Hall can make him work early, if he gets a clean takedown off the rip, because both these guys kind of have gas tank issues. We've seen Phil kind of gas before, and he seems like he's kind of cleaned that up, but off his back, I guarantee he probably gets tired. So if Phil can make him work early, and not let Ikram get that first takedown, because if he gets that first one, I think he's going to dominate the whole fight. But make him work early. there is a world where Phil Hawes can kind of sneak out, maybe lose the first round still, but kind of turn up that second win the second round, win the third round, and win this fight. So I'm on the Ikram side because I do believe he is the better grappler of the two. He's going to get the takedowns. He's going to have the top control. He's going to be able to control this fight, but the gas tank is like a little bit, big UFC debut, the big moment, the bright lights, weirder things have happened than Phil Hawes coming out, defending a few takedowns and having probably the more dynamic striking advantage. So I'm going Ikram, but everyone that's saying, the beard with the Russian, he's going to dominate, put him in parlays, I'd be like, yeah, let's let him win one first and then start throwing him in parlays.
No, I hear you. And Phil Hawes had cardio issues, but those are resolved, right? We saw him have cardio issues early in his career, and then ever since that Kyle Dawkins fight, he looked good. He hasn't slowed down.
When you're controlling the fight, it's a little bit different than fighting off your back.
Well, Kyle Dawkins was trying to wrestle him. Obviously, completely different world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that guy's not in the UFC anymore. And his brother, was that next week?
I don't know. I didn't break down next week yet. Anyway, DraftKings is going to be interesting because I think I think if Ikram wins, I think he scores really well. If Phil wins, he may not score that well. He may have just defended some takedowns and win the striking exchanges, which we've seen him do. So, if you're all in on Ikram, as I see some of you are in the live chat, then $9,100 is probably a good price because people tell, Phil Hawes sucks. Phil Hawes does not suck. He's fast, powerful, athletic, national wrestling champion, solid, clean boxing. Like, he can't control his chin. That is what it is, and his chin is not great. But, man, like I said, he was piecing up. Go watch the Chris Curtis fight. He was piecing up Chris Curtis before he got caught. So, anyway, I'm definitely not going to throw Phil Hawes in my lineup, but Ikram at 9,100, if that's the side you're on, he probably scores really well, either with takedowns or some sort of finish. What do you think? You agree? Yes? Great. Congratulations. You don't agree?
Well, I just thought you finished it for me. I just thought you slammed your mouse, and that's usually I'm about to move on.
Well, just waiting for that answer still.
Well, seemed like you kind of answered it for me, jackass.
All right, then. Well,
stupid ass.
WeWantPicks.com. Become a member. Join this fabulous community of 2,000 plus people. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It's $10. You unlock literally everything. And you get a nice yellow tag in the Discord.
These are the most, obviously, all respect to Parker. That's not a great shot of Parker. But then I look over, that's the most random picture you couldn't find. I picked
that's what I found.
A shirt off, fucking, and he looks like you have him pictured like he's 7 foot tall as well. The guy's 5'7".
That's the picture I found. That's what I used. Okay. Jesus. Next up at UFC 288, we have Parker Porter taking on UFC newcomer Braxton Smith. Parker Porter, 13-8 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that loss to Justin Taffa at UFC Australia. I forget the number. He's taking on Braxton Smith, 5-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is making his UFC debut. What are you making a face for?
That line movement, not doing it for me.
It's incredible.
Well, no, you have the other side. Apparently he was a minus 178 open, and then now he's a minus 173.
No. Oh, yeah, that's a typo. He was minus 173 open.
About. You spent 3 minutes on the intro bragging about the graphics, Angelo, only to pull this shit.
He opened at, the lines are exact opposite. He opened at minus 173, and now he's plus 148. So. Complete line flip on both sides. Anyway, Parker Porter, as a reminder, I know him personally. We're both from Connecticut. I managed him for a while. We're friends. I know Parker
great
well.
Guy.
Went to his wedding.
Know him personally. Great guy.
Yeah, went to the wedding. Like, couldn't be a better guy. I always give that warning. But usually he's not the favorite. The fact that he is almost a 2-1 favorite here, I almost don't need to give the warning, right? Like, my bias may not even have an effect.
Full transparency. Let's do transparency here.
What? No, I am. That's why I said 100%. Yeah. Anyway, Parker Porter, as we know, he's actually a well-rounded guy. He's pretty fast. He comes out there. He's got solid striking, solid cardio, solid wrestling, solid BJJ. Really high-volume guy who's landing almost 7 significant strikes per minute. And that is an insane number to the point he literally set the UFC significant strike record and then as his next fight out, broke his own record. This guy puts up numbers on the board. He will stay busy. He's got nice footwork, get those takedowns. He's 3-3 in the UFC, which there are plenty of heavyweights that are nowhere near 3-3 in the UFC or haven't gotten close to 3 wins. His losses are quality losses. UFC debut to Chris Daukaus. He literally was 300 pounds, got the phone call, had a baby, and just had to cut all that weight, lose that weight. Short notice. Then Jailton Almeida, who could potentially be heavyweight champion. We'll find out a lot more about him next week.
Ooh,
and then
Biggie Boy's all about that, by the way.
Yeah, you know what Biggie Boy's using in his Instagram stories?
Me
saying he's going to lose and then clipping to him winning.
No, but then it goes to me saying, "Oh, he's going to absolutely destroy."
Either way, Jacob and I are
more about me.
Well, okay. Jacob and
he
I
had to cut me off because I said he's going to absolutely destroy this clown Daukaus because he literally kept it respectful for Daukaus when he knocked him out. But
well, he's all over. Jacob and I are all over Biggie Boy's Instagram. But anyway, that's next week. My point was Parker Porter's losses are quality. Jailton Almeida, absolute beast, could be UFC champion. And then he's coming up to loss to Justin Tafa, who can knock out anybody. He's fighting Braxton Smith. This is Braxton's first UFC fight. The dude is as jacked as he looks in this picture. He's a monster of a man. He's not very tall, but he's a jacked guy, and he fights like a jacked guy. His arm, I don't know how he wipes. His arms don't come up as far as they should, but when they do, he fires away. He comes forward, just throws bombs, full speed. He can knock out a horse at any moment.
Horses are fast. Actually pretty easy to knock out. You ever seen a horse get knocked out when they get kicked by another horse? Boom, done.
Anyway, Braxton Smith could do that as well with his hands. He doesn't really have offensive wrestling at all, but he's short, jacked, and he separates his hips really well. He's hard to take down. More than one fight of people have him against the cage, arms around his hips, trying to get it done, and can't. So he's got good takedown defense. He's insanely dangerous. Doesn't have a ton of cardio. Not really a well-rounded guy, but I mean, he's the most dangerous bar fighter you'll ever meet, right? Dude just swings, hits ridiculously hard, and that's what makes this fight a little wild, right? These are heavyweights. Parker Porter will absolutely be the better fighter in this matchup. He's going to be faster. He's going to have better technique. He's going to have better footwork. He'll have better wrestling. He'll have better BJJ. He'll literally be better everywhere except just straight up raw power. They are heavyweights. Raw power is a factor in a heavyweight fight. We've seen Parker get hit before. Parker's going to be the pick because he is by far the better fighter, but these are heavyweights and anything can happen. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I mean, this is the most typical heavyweight fight ever. You got a low experience guy that hits like a truck, and Parker Porter, who's shown he was chinny in his last fight, but is the better fighter. I mean, what Parker Porter needs to do in this fight, and Parker, I hope you're listening, and this is the game plan that's going to win, is just wait. It's just wait and wait. And I know that Parker, when he starts fights, he likes to get in people's faces. He likes to use his boxing, right? Because he's a good boxer. He's going to be the better boxer in this matchup. So he likes to go in there and throw his volume and boom, boom. And he can stay safe in certain instances. But he got over-aggressive against Tafa, and that's how he got knocked out. If he just waits and just waits and just waits, Braxton is going to get impatient. Braxton is a very sloppy striker, wants to throw all power. And all Parker Porter needs to do is just wait for that power, duck underneath it, double leg this dude, and just lay on top of him. And I have to imagine that this guy, a very low experienced guy that's a powerful striker, all that muscle, when he is flat on his back for more than 3 or 4 minutes, that power is going to be telegraphed and gone from that point forward. If I'm Parker, I swear to God, I'm just against the fence. I'm just waiting, and that dude eventually is going to come through, and you're going to see that big shot. You duck, you double, you just lay on him for 3 or 4 minutes, and even if you don't finish him on the ground, that next round's going to start, and those shots are going to be, just breathing heavy and telegraphed. I don't care how good his cardio is. If he's laying flat on his back, he's going to get tired, and I think Parker Porter can control the fight like that. Is that going to happen? I have no idea. I have a feeling that Parker's going to try and box him, going to look good, touch him up, and then get knocked out kind of the same way Tough is. But Parker's the better fighter, and the path to victory is just so obvious to me that I have to pick Parker in this fight. So I get it. Everyone's be like, oh, you're going to get knocked out. Yeah, that's a possibility. These are 250, 260-pound men throwing 4-ounce gloves around. Yeah, he might get knocked out. That's that's a risk in every single fight. Everyone can almost get knocked out. So if it happens, it happens. But he's the better fighter, and he's got a path to victory. I'm going Parker Porter.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, this fight is probably going to be an exciting one, honestly. I'm on the Parker side. Obviously, I'd be on the Parker side no matter who the opponent was. But I do think Parker can get it done. You're saying, wait, I literally texted him. I'm reading my text right now. I hope you light this fool's legs up. He's all wild overhands and not much else. And if Parker just lays in, he's got heavy leg kicks. If he just lays into this dude's legs, where's he going?
I think that's a bad idea because the second he throws one, that dude's just going to come right over the top, and it takes one shot.
Nah, that's what footwork is. That's what footwork is. Light the leg up, step out. Light the leg up, step out. Boom.
There's so many times where people, especially heavyweights, are throwing leg kicks, and then somebody just eats in it, throws that right hand over the top, just times it, and if it lands it, he's getting knocked out. I wouldn't do that at all. I would just wait for him and take him down.
Yeah, wait against the cage. You're right. Wait against the cage. Absolute fucking moron. $8,600, $7,600 in DraftKings. One of these dudes is going to score 1 million points because this will not go the distance. This will not go the distance.
You watch the Saws movies?
The Saw movies? No.
Are you going to see Saw 10?
No.
Huh?
No, I'm not going to see Saw 10.
Oh no! Sorry, it's not Saw 10. There's a SawCons in Dallas. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
What?
SawCons in Dallas?
This is a trap, and I'm not falling into it.
Yeah, suck on these nuts, bitch.
Okay. Good job. What a setup.
Man.
What a setup. Anyway, somebody's going to score really, really well in this fight because if Parker gets it to the ground, Braxton's not going anywhere. And if Braxton is the giant heavyweight that he is, then obviously he's going to score well there as well. So pick your side. I'm on the Parker side. So is Jakey Boy. I am probably going to throw some parlays together with this fight does not go the distance. I didn't look at those odds.
God, I thought you were going to say with Parker in it.
With I don't know what those odds are, but we'll see what happens. Next up at UFC 288, we have Marina Rodriguez taking on Virna Jandiroba. Marina Rodriguez is 16-2 overall. She is 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that KO loss to Amanda Lemos. She's taking on Rob Schneider at 18-3 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. Coming off that win over Angela Hill, and that was a quality win. That's a genuine quality win over Angela Hill. Marina Rodriguez, very good boxer. She's got solid speed, solid power. She's got, that raw one-punch knockout power, which at this weight class is not easy to come by. And she's just got okay takedown defense, which could be a problem in this fight. She did defend 7 of 8 takedowns from Mackenzie Dern. So if you're looking at the stats, you're like, oh, wow. But Mackenzie Dern's takedowns absolutely suck. And if you go back and look at her other fights, she has been taken down and have been ridden out by people like Ronda Marcos, Carla Esparza. Overall, Marina Rodriguez is pretty well-rounded. She can grind out a win or get a finish, but she's definitely a striker, and she's going to need to avoid the takedowns. And that's not going to be the easiest thing to do because Virna Jandiroba is a grinder. She's solid on the ground. Her striking is just okay, but she hits really hard, and she throws with some solid volume. She doesn't have much head movement, so you can light her up with a jab, but she's diving, man. She's shooting takedowns. She's looking to get it done. She is 4-3 in the UFC, but her losses are very solid, and they were decent outings against Carla Esparza, Mackenzie Dern, and Amanda Ribas. She's coming off that grapple heavy win over Angela Hill.
I like that. Ooh, I like the way it rolls off your tongue, huh? Can you say it again?
We're about to break down somebody who didn't Marina Rodriguez knock out Amanda Ribas?
It's a little bit of an early stoppage in my mind.
Anyway, Marina Rodriguez is going to be the pick here because she's going to have the far better striking, and I think she just dances. I think she touches, lights up Virna's face, stays busy, and just wins with clean striking technique. But this line movement makes sense to me because 275 is way too wide. This line movement makes sense to me. Virna can close the distance, get the takedowns, and Marina can be in a lot of trouble there, just dealing with that over and over again. So Marina's going to be the pick. I do think it's going to be just the jab and volume that'll get it done, but anything's possible. And Virna's very live. with those takedowns. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect Virna. She's seems like an awesome person, honestly. I mean, she's absolutely incredible, and she is relentless when she is a fighter. So all this disrespect for Virna, I'm not gonna stand for it. But she needs to basically do what Cody Durden did. I mean, Cody Durden, lock of the week. I said he was just going to come in and just kind of outwork the striker, and that's exactly what he did. And that's what Virna needs to do. She needs to just keep working and just working. And she is one of those people that can implement that game plan. The issue is she's going to need some takedowns to win the fight. Cody got the takedowns. He had the control. He won the fight. And I don't know if she can work that pace against Marina, because Marina is a little workhorse herself and has the footwork and has been there, done that, knows what's coming her way in Virna, knows the takedowns are coming. She's going to be ready. And she is such a slick striker. I mean, Amanda Ribas kind of ran into some troubles as well. Amanda Ribas is more of the judo, but when you get in that range, she is very good at kind of sniping you on your entries. And I think she can do the same thing to Virna in this matchup. Now, it's going to be tough, and it's probably going to be 3 rounds because Virna is going to be there. Even when she's getting hit, she's going to be there. She's going to be there. She's going to be there. So Marina's going to have to work in this fight, but she is the much better striker. I think she keeps it mostly standing and just kind of picks Virna apart. So I think this is another one of those decision fights, and this could be one of those weird decisions, you know, where Virna is working, gets a couple takedowns, but all the striking exchanges are from Marina, and the controls maybe only 2 minutes around, and the judges don't know what the fuck they're doing, you know? So it could be a weird decision, but I got to go Marina because I think it's mostly striking, and she is the better striker of the two.
Yep, I agree with you. We're completely aligned. It's a close fight. I'm not touching it. I think the over is solid. I did not put the over 2.5 in the safety parlay. I thought about it, but man, they both have stoppages. They both have clean stoppages at that. So I was like, man, obviously women fights should go over, and I do have some action on the over, but not in the safety parlay. If you want to unlock the safety parlay, it hits at a 70% clip. 70% clip, a safety parlay every single week. 70%. It's only $10 a month to unlock all of it, including that. What were you going to say?
I can't believe that.
Well, the stats are on the sheet.
No, I was just going to mention, you mentioned that most girl fights go to a decision. I just think it's because girls are tougher than guys. I mean, for the most part. I am really a champion for women's rights, and I believe that they are much tougher than the male species. And if you feel that way and you're a hot brunette, 25 to 33, DM me, we can talk about it.
Only brunettes?
We can get a rally going. I'm a brunette guy, I would think.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Hair, nice little fade. Tall.
You're just describing
stubble. Maybe a little stubble.
You're describing Virna. Really curly hair past the ears. I love tattoos.
I like that she can watch my back while she's watching me.
Keep an eye on the front door and the back door at the exact same time.
I like that I can show her TikToks, but she can keep watching her show. Hey, look at this one. Oh, I said I wasn't going to be mean. Oh, fuck.
Anyway, credit to Virna because she's very live in this fight. I'm not touching the money line at all. The line movement makes a ton of sense to me, as discussed. Yeah, we're both on the Marina Rodriguez side, but not the most confident picks we've ever had. And we do have a $2.99 from Giddy Up. Virna got the advantage. She sees everything. I didn't even see that before I pinned it. Thank you very much for the $2.99. And is it Giddy Up from every time I see Giddy Up, it's, you don't watch Seinfeld, but it's Kramer going Giddy Up.
You know what's weird is anytime somebody does have a lazy eye, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but sometimes it's hard to tell which eye is the good eye. Like you really don't know which eye is the good eye. I can tell.
I think it's pretty
yeah,
obvious.
This one
here.
is
it's pretty.
It's locked in.
It's locked out.
Come on. Let's clean it up.
Next up at UFC 288, we have Khaos. Yes, Khaos is his first name. Williams, it's actually not his first name.
Khaos
taking on Rolando Bedoya. Khaos Williams 13-3 overall. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that close decision loss to Randy Brown. He's taking on Rolando. What?
Why does he look like he's like in like he just got in the pool? He's cold. Like I'm cold.
Rolando, because that's how a lot. You're gonna see a lot of pictures from BJJ guys like that. It's weird. That and the hang loose.
Full
hang loose.
handful. What are you looking at?
I don't wear the bathrobe when I.
No, I'm saying when you do this, are you? Because I'm a full. I mean, look, I'm a full handful here. I mean, that's
I have monster man hands. You have those baby hands.
I mean, look at this.
Okay, all right. Jesus Christ. Khaos Williams 13-3 in his last 5. As I mentioned, 3-2. Sorry, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that loss to Randy Brown. He's taking on Rolando Bedoya, making his official UFC debut. 14-1 overall. He has an 11-fight win streak coming into this. Khaos Williams is a fun guy to watch. Beast of a striker. He's never in a boring fight. He will walk you down. He's got a ton of power. He's got solid low kicks, and he uses those low kicks to slow you down, and then he'll come to the head and headhunt. He's actually a pretty durable guy. He's got that knockout power, and he's always live in a fight. Decent takedown defense as well. He's coming off that split decision loss to Randy Brown, where it was really Randy's reach and volume that got that done for him, because he knocked Randy down as well. He's taking on Rolando Bedoya. Rolando Bedoya is sort of an in-and-out striker. He's got lots of movement, lots of variety with his strikes as well. He's going to work in kicks. Everything he throws is a combination, which is nice to see, but he does lack that raw one-punch knockout power. He never does one strike at a time, right? He's always throwing in combinations. That you love that. That's what you're supposed to do. He's not going to put you out with one strike, but those combinations will add up. His biggest issue is he is hittable. If you go back and watch tape, watch him fight Pablo Tuerta, Pablo landed every single straight right and overhand right that he sent. Every single one he sent hit Rolando square in the face. And if that was Khaos Williams sending those, dude would have been put out cold. And I think that's why the odds are what they are. Khaos is actually the biggest favorite on this card for now. We're about to have a much larger favorite on this card. But for right now, Khaos Williams, oh yeah? Evloev isn't going to be... I guarantee that guy opens at minus...
He should be
okay, we'll talk about that.
I mean, we'll break that.
Okay, we'll break that down when it's time to break that down. Khaos Williams is the biggest favorite on this card, and I think he absolutely should be. He's got power. He's got technique. He's not just a one-punch guy that can't go the distance. And Rolando, while young, exciting, has seemed to put things together in the regional scene. This is a tough UFC debut. This is a big step up in competition, and a guy that's that hittable against a guy that hits like this, I see Khaos Williams getting it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I literally have nothing to add for that breakdown. You said everything. I do love this kid, Rolando. He is tough as shit. So everyone that's playing, like, I get it, all the inside the distance, and Khaos gonna knock him out, and he should knock him out. But don't discredit the toughness of this kid, because he can eat shots. He can take shots. He could just, I mean... there is a world where he kind of survives for 3 rounds, but this should be a Khaos play all the way. He's got the power. I mean, the breakdown is pretty easy. Rolando gets hit. Khaos hits people. He puts them to sleep. Easy. I mean, you literally said everything. I mean, there's not much to add. There really isn't much to add to this for this fight.
No, and it wasn't even just I mentioned the Pedro fight, or Pablo. It wasn't even just that fight. I mean, he gets hit a lot.
Yeah, he's a fun kid. I mean, he's a young, cocky kid, and he fights like you would expect a 26-year-old. Like, I'm in there, hands low, this and that. I'm throwing combinations. I'm getting hit, but I can eat it. And I wish they wouldn't have gave him Khaos for this fight, because it's an awful matchup for him. And I think he could be a fun guy for the UFC.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because, I mean, we did see a couple of last-minute replacements at UFC Vegas 72
interesting
that showed up. What?
On like 4 or 5 days' notice, and then won their fights. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Just fucking keep it in the jar. And what? You strike me as somebody who would piss in jars in his room. You pee in a jar when you were a kid? Nope. Okay. Jacob definitely pissed in jars in his room. Okay.
Wore diapers to us.
I think we're both. Everybody's both in chaos.
Live streams. They say that. No, that's weird that you say that, because they literally say that MMA Guru pisses in bottles while he's streaming. While he's streaming, he just goes and pisses in bottles. So you described MMA Guru. That's what people in the live stream were telling me on Saturday. I don't know if it's true or not.
He's got to be like he says he does it, or that's a theory.
They know that he's like, oh, I gotta pee. I don't know, but that's what they were telling me. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, your boy from Frisco lives up the street. I'll give you Jacob's address to send us a DM. His apartment is ground level. It's between the high school and the train station. And he's got cats on the windowsill. Can't miss it. Anyway, we're both on the same side. we're both on the same side. We also think that Khaos Williams is going to win inside the distance. I didn't full bet to that extent because Rolando is tough. He's hittable. We haven't seen him get put out just yet, but he most likely does in this fight. If you want to see the action that we do have on this fight, because I do have action on this fight, just not inside the distance, WeWantPicks.com. It's just $10 a month. You unlock literally everything you could ever imagine. Think about what other people are charging and what they deliver. Add all of that shit together, and you're getting that for only $10 a month at WeWantPicks.com. We do have a video called Premium 2.0, which walks through every single screen and step and what's there if you want to see behind the curtain.
Everyone's gonna leave to watch that.
Next up at UFC 288, we have another insane line movement fight. We have Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Devin Clark. Kennedy Nzechukwu is 11-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Jan Kutalaba. He's taking on Devin Clark, 14-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off a wrestling win over Da Un Jung. And Devin Clark is a solid grappler, right? He's got well-timed striking. He doesn't really have the best chin. We have seen him have some issues in the past with his chin, but he has solid footwork, heavy hands. He doesn't look to crowd his opponents. He wants to take him down. Once he takes you down, he's just looking to bomb away. He's not looking for submission. He's looking to get a stoppage there. He is coming off that grinding win over Da Un Jung, where he did get 3 takedown attempts, but he was 3 for 11. So the takedowns weren't quite as easy. That was
a surprising victory, too. I think he was a pretty big dog in that matchup, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. He's taking on Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's a long, powerful guy. He's got solid takedown defense at 80%. And, famously, he's never out of a fight. There's several fights that he has been behind on the scorecards and then gets that knockout and gets it done. He actually just did it against Jan Kutalaba. Granted, it was in the second round, but he lost the first round on all 3 judges' scorecards. And that keeps happening to him because he's gun shy. He just doesn't let his hands go. He'll wait. He'll back up. He'll wait. And then he starts to let his hands go. He starts to touch people and ultimately puts them out. Kennedy Nzechukwu should win this fight. He should be able to get to Devin. He should be able to hit Devin. Devin's chin at times has not held up as much as he would have liked. So Kennedy should absolutely win this fight. He opened at a plus 115 underdog. He is now a minus 190 favorite. That line movement is wild. And this is at light heavyweight. So that's like incredible line movement there. I agree with the line movement. The only reason I'm a little hesitant to throw a bunch of money on Kennedy, and even a little earlier before he was minus 190 here, is because he is a slow starter. And I can't stand betting on guys that'll just give up a round every single time, especially in a 3-round fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I like Devin Clark. He's a great guy. His dad in his corner, it seems like the greatest dad in the world. Just like, come on, Devin. You'll hear him on Saturday. I don't care how loud the arena is. You're going to hear him in the corner. Come on, Devin. Get up, Devin. And it's really kind of cool to see. And Devin he's an athlete. I mean, he is just a pure athlete, strong as shit, huge, muscular legs. I mean, great ass on him. When he has Kennedy pinned against the fence, you're going to see the ass that this guy's got. But unfortunately, as athletic and as strong as he is, in clinch positions, he will engage, he will hold people, but then he will get reversed. In takedowns, in scrambles, he will take people down, but then you can see him getting reversed. And Kennedy is a guy that you can see has made improvements in his takedown defense. If he gets taken down, he doesn't panic. He's been getting back to his feet a little bit easier, and he's even kind of reversing positions and trying to get takedowns of his own in trips. And being the tall guy, he can kind of get up underneath, double underhooks, and maybe take down Devin Clark, because Devin Clark is susceptible to takedowns as well. But if you're Devin Clark, this has got to be the most boring fight ever. I mean, you have to hold him against the fence. You have to hold him on the ground for 15 minutes, because if this dude gets space against a guy like Devin Clark, he's just going to overwhelm him. And that's what Kennedy does to people. He's just so long and just kind of lulls people to sleep, right? Because as you mentioned, slow starter. It's like he's not doing anything. You think he's good. And then all of a sudden it's like boom. And it's like pop, pop, pop. And he's hitting you with a 3-4 piece combo. And then you're stunned. And then he just puts you away. And I think that's what happens here. Devin Clark's going to close the distance early, have some success. Kennedy's going to turn him against the cage, disengage, and just kind of stay on him, and Kennedy's going to win this fight. So I like Devin Clark. He seems like a great guy. He's got all the athleticism in the world, but this is a tough fight for him. He's got to make this boring. I just don't think he can for 15 minutes.
I hear you. I hear you. Like I said, the only reason I'm not all in on Kennedy is he does give up rounds. He's a slow starter. He's going to give up the first. Probably lose the first immediately. And then, not immediately, in 5 minutes, but probably give up that first, then start to get his hands going. And then that's when he'll pick it up and potentially win by finish. But Devin starts holding him against the cage, diving at legs. It is possible he gets it done. I do think Kennedy wins. He's got that 80% takedown defense, much better striker, but just didn't go ahead and throw my money on that just yet. $9,000 in DraftKings. He's only worth that if he gets a finish. And Devin Clark is tough, but Kennedy probably wins by finish.
He's tough, but he's, he'll just kind of shell up. And his dad will be yelling, "Come on, Devin, get up, Devin, you gotta move, Devin."
Well, and it's similar to the Phil Hawes. Some things he can't help, right? Phil Hawes can't help his chin, and Devin Clark suffers a similar fate. Anyway, we're both on the Kennedy and Nzechukwu side. You agree with this line movement? Like he should be a minus 190 favorite, or that's a bit wide?
I think it's getting a little bit too wide. Minus 175 seems like a comfortable number.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you. Minus 190 is wide, which is why I haven't touched it. If it was minus 150, I'd be all over it. Anyway, we on Picks.com, only $10 a month. You can unlock anything you could have ever wanted to help you find your spots, make money watching fights, whether it's fantasy, betting, or otherwise. We do have
what was the height discrepancy? I didn't see that for Kennedy and Devin Clark.
Jesus Christ, it was on here forever. 6'5", 6 feet. That guy Ernie B screaming like a bitch. He commented, "What's the height difference? What's the height difference? Just hit pause, for shit's sake." My God. $4.99 from Tannis. Shout out to Angelo and Jacob. Savages with the snipes. Let's go. Lock of the week, Cody Durden and Song up big boys. Let's snap again. Sign up, premium membership, Flex Lock. Thank you very much, Tannis.
I appreciate that, Tannis.
Very pretty. Tannis also calls into the call-in show.
The incredibly successful call-in show.
It is incredibly successful. Last time we were kicking people off.
By the way, hey guys, I'm doing a card opening Friday night. Okay? Boom. We got the new 2023 Prism. We got some other boxes to unlock Friday night. Tune in. Maybe we'll stick around and watch one together. I think that's Friday night too. So,
congrats. This is Playboy Jacob, right? Playboy Jacob. All the ladies. Everybody's waiting to hang out with Jake. Hey guys, I'm opening my UFC baseball cards on the live stream on Friday night, Cinco de Mayo. Playboy Jake.
Oh, it is Cinco de Mayo, huh? Oh,
yeah.
Man. I have to check my calendar, huh?
Yeah,
let me check my emails. Let me check my texts.
Oh,
yeah, they're pouring in now.
Yep.
Playboy you want a Cinco de Mayo?
Apparently nobody does. Friday night, opening baseball cards on camera.
Nobody?
Hey, girls. Ooh, I'm going to put this one in a sleeve.
Well, I mean, last time I opened one of these boxes that I have, I unlocked the Amanda Hebus autographed, and she retweeted, she liked it, and then almost opened my DM after that.
Awesome. Speaking of incredibly handsome people that have plans on Friday nights, we have Drew Dober taking on Matt Frevola at UFC 288. Drew Dober, 26-11 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight knockout win streak. He's taking on Matt the Steamroller Frevola, 10-3 overall, fighting in his backyard, 3-2 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight knockout streak. We all know Drew Dober very well. We all talk about his chin. It took over Jacob's Quick Picks video.
Oh, you do watch him.
No, I saw people commenting. Drew Dober has a fun take one to give one kind of style. You can hit him as hard as you want. It's not going to do a single thing. And then he's going to fire back. He's going to march forward, absolutely bomb away. He's got one of the best chins in MMA, both literally, figuratively, just for visual reasons, durability reasons. This guy's all chin, and it's working for him. He's a very durable guy. We have seen some chinks in the armor, though, right? We saw Terrence McKinney almost get him out of there. He was like 90% done. And then Terrence McKinney blew his wad, and Drew Dober came back. He's coming off that win over Bobby Green, where Bobby Green was lighting him up lit him up in the first round. And then Drew Dober came forward, landed big, got it done. And that's 3 fights in a row. And, I mean, he's just leaning into it. This dude is just showing up in incredible shape, swinging wild, trusting his chin, and putting people down. He's taking on Matt Frevola. Dude's tough as hell. Also a very good wrestler. He never stops coming forward. Not the most technical striker, but it doesn't stop him from charging forward and just throwing big power, huge looping shots, and working the takedowns. He averages 3 takedowns per fight. Pretty low accuracy, but as we discussed earlier, he's just diving at legs. He has 12 takedowns in 9 fights, but he hasn't gotten or needed a single takedown in his last 4 fights. And he's coming off that knockout win over Atmis Azaitar, where Matt Frevola was a huge underdog and put that dude's lights out. That dude was supposed to be the killer striker, and Matt Frevola just put him out. And listen, the line movement, I actually like to see the line go this way. I think Matt Frevola can win this fight. I have $25 on him, a quarter of a unit. I got it at plus 185. And eventually, Drew Dober's chin is not going to, it just can't hold up forever. It just can't. It's impossible. And Matt Frevola will wrestle. So now we know he has one punch knockout power in his hands, and he'll wrestle, and you can out wrestle Drew Dober. So I see Matt Frevola coming forward, throwing wild himself, and then shooting, wrestling. Hopefully he didn't get a taste of that walk-off knockout and then starts chasing that, because Matt Frevola's chin has also been tested and he failed that test. But I do think Matt Frevola gets it done. Quarter of a unit, nothing. $25. If you want to talk in real money, a unit for me is $100. A unit for Jacob is $100. $25 at plus 185. I'll give them 25. They're going to give me whatever the hell that math is back. Well, plus 100 is they're going to give me 50 back. Plus 185, they're going to give me like maybe. They're going to give me like 65, $70 back. So I think Matt Frevola gets it done, but I fully recognize that this could be another Drew Dober knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I see it a little bit different, but I have the same outcome. I think Matt Frevola wins this fight, because when I think of Drew Dober, I think of him as this super fast striker, pressure striker, get in your face and just kind of knock you out. But when you watch him fight, he is a methodical striker. He's that Muay Thai striking, and he kind of needs space, right? He needs to be the guy that's kind of pushing the pressure, and he needs space, right? Bobby Green was not giving him that space. He was throwing in the counter shots, boom, boom, touch him on the way in. Terrence McKinney blitzed him. That's when he got in some trouble. And Matt Frevola is a guy that's not going to give you space. He is going to be the pressure fighter in this matchup. He's going to be marching down Drew Dober, and that's when Drew Dober gets into trouble. And yeah, his chin has been holding up, and he's got this crimson chin, but getting dropped is not holding up. I mean, holding up is like you can eat shots and you can still move forward. He is getting dropped and almost finished in a lot of these fights. And Matt Frevola, when I was watching tapes, I think he's the faster striker. I think he is the more technical, faster striker in the pocket, and that's where Drew Dober gets hurt the most. And yes, there is the outside wrestling chance that Matt Frevola comes in his hometown, slows his fight down, really tries to focus on getting a win. And I think that probably is a path to victory for him. But even if he wants to just kind of get in the pocket, press this guy, and throw strikes, I think he can beat Drew Dober to the punch, and he can hurt Drew Dober. He's been hurting a lot of people, and I think he can hurt Drew Dober. And the biggest part about this, I think, is going to be the confidence levels. Matt Frevola is coming off a huge win, big knockout win, and he is part of that Ray Longo team. He is part of the Aljo buildup. He is part of that camp, and the confidence level for that camp is through the roof. He is not going to come in and be scared to get knocked out by Drew Dober. He's going to be coming in, pushing the pace, pushing the pressure, all the confidence in the world, and I think he gets it done in front of the home fans and sets up that team for a big main event.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we're on the same side here. I think he needs to wrestle, though. I think he absolutely needs to wrestle. I mean, Matt Frevola has been stopped, and if Drew Dober hits you, I mean, not only does he have a great chin, he hits hard as hell. So
I think he's faster than Drew.
He could be, but he can also get blown out. So anyway, we are on the same side. We are on the same side. Well, I put my money.
He's gonna win, but he might not. Premium $10. Sign up today. I'm trying to get to Brazil, guys. Fuck, man. Just sign up for premium so I could just go to Brazil and just find me a woman and just sit there for the next 50 years. That's where the premium money's going. I mean, it's funding my living in Brazil, and I'll send videos every once in a while for you guys. I appreciate it. Sign up today. $10 a month. WeWonPicks.com.
You get all the things.
If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will.
Please look at him. Look at him. Look at this poor bastard.
Hold de repetir, por favor.
Oh, good. You're still doing Rosetta Stone. Great. $7,000. I think Matt Frevola is a great underdog at $7,000. I think he can get the takedowns. We obviously think he wins the fight, and that's a phenomenal price point. And even if he loses, he may score well in a loss. You may get 50 points in a loss out of him with a drop, a couple of takedowns. You could potentially do pretty well on that side, but we obviously both think he wins. WeOnPicks.com, $10 a month. Get Jacob to Brazil. Next up at UFC 288, we have the main card opener. And they said, you know what? This is a pretty big fight. This is a pay-per-view with potentially the greatest of all time in the main event versus the other
Are you about to
division.
trash this fight?
Greatest of all time.
Wait, no.
I'm trashing that they put Kron Gracie on the main card.
Well, it's because Charles Jourdain and Kron Gracie is a absolute dog. I mean, that fight with
I
Cub
get
was
it.
a great fight.
I get it. The dude hasn't
What do you mean
fought.
you get it? You're just trying to say you don't get it. Now you're saying you get it. I just explained why it's on
There
the main
are
card. You're
better
like, I get
fights.
it. You were just sitting here complaining that's on the main card, and then it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. What?
I get
Clean
what you're
it up.
saying. I get what you're saying, that Kron's a dog. Should it be on the main card? No. He has 5 professional fights, hasn't fought in 4 full years. And they said, here's a main card slot for you.
It's gonna be
Here's a
great fight.
main card slot.
Dude's a dog, man. It's going to be a great fight. This is going to be fight of the night and fucking embarrass your dumbass.
This isn't a better fight than the Matt Frevola Drew Dober fight.
Well, that's why they put that as the featured prelim. If the order stays.
Oh, okay.
That's the slot for the better
Idiot.
fight. So, yeah, they put it right there.
Kron Gracie, 5-1 in his illustrious MMA career, 4-1 in his last 5, coming back after just a brief 4 years away. He's taking on Charles Jourdain, 13-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off the decision loss to Nathaniel Wood. Kron Gracie, we talked about the all beard, no mustache. You know what they're going to do? Well, when you see this last name, you know what he's great at, right? He's a phenomenal grappler, high-level BJJ, all sorts of experience and accolades. He only has 6 MMA fights, but he does take his career pretty seriously. Obviously, that fight with Cub Swanson, as Jacob mentioned, that was a very good fight. That was a fun fight to watch. He lost that fight, and then he said, let me take time to get better. I don't know if that's what he's been doing the entire 4 years, but that's why he stepped away, to get better, to work on his striking, to absolutely improve there. But what was frustrating about that fight is 0 takedown attempts. Didn't even try to take it to the ground, where he should have a very clear advantage, but didn't go that route, didn't do that. Hung out, super tough, as Jacob mentioned. I'm not shitting on Kron Gracie. I was more teasing that there's nothing wrong with Kron Gracie. It's insane that there's better fights for this main card. Anyway, Kron Gracie is incredibly tough. I just mentioned one.
I know, but they put that in the spot to sell the pay-per-view. That's one of the best fights on the card, and that's why it's there. So what's the other one? What's going to replace this one? You're not going to take Drew Dober out of the featured spot.
Okay.
That's there for a reason. That's why that Chris Curtis and Gastelum fight was right there. They knew it was going to be a crazy fight. It sold the pay-per-views.
Khaos Williams is more deserving of a main card slot. Okay.
So you put a 27-year-old debut fighter on the main card. That's your idea of fun.
That 27-year-old debut fighter has 3 times the amount of fights as Kron Gracie. 3 times.
It's because it's Charles Jourdain and Kron is a dog. It's
Charles Jourdain. You make it sound like he's a pay-per-view draw. He's barely on main
cards. Every fight that he fights is absolutely insane. What do you mean?
I'm not trashing the fighters. I'm saying it's a weird fight for the main card.
No, it's gonna be a great. Both these guys are. I mean, I'm explaining
right,
to you time and time again. It's like it just goes whoa over your stupid bald head.
Just shut the fuck. It's there. Anyway, Kron Gracie, tough as hell, will throw out strikes. Doesn't wrestle as often as you would like him to wrestle, considering he is a phenomenal grappler. He's taking on Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain's going to come forward and do what he does, right? He's a fun striker. He's absolutely going to put on a show. He has a great chin. He's incredibly fast. Really good timing. He's willing to take one. He's willing to spin. He's willing to just go out there and make something happen. The problem is he's given up 21 takedowns in his 10-fight UFC career. 21 takedowns in 10 fights. And if I thought Kron Gracie would actually wrestle, Kron Gracie would be the pick. But we just watched him fight Cub Swanson. Not even attempt to wrestle. Getting pieced up on his feet. Didn't even attempt to wrestle. I don't think he's going to wrestle here as well. And I have to pick the actual MMA fighter with the, almost 20 fights of MMA experience. So Charles Jourdain's going to be the pick. There's a very easy path for Kron Gracie. I just don't know if he's going to take it, especially after we've seen Charles Jourdain get out-wrestled and out-grappled. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, Charles Jourdain's going to be the pick for this fight because he is the better overall fighter, but do not count out, and I know there is a lot of people, there is a little bit of noise for the Kron Gracie side. When I'm seeing people talk about lock of the week, there is people picking Kron in this fight because he is an absolute dog. And in that Cub Swanson fight, his dirty, because he does train with the Diaz brothers brought him in for all the jiu-jitsu stuff, and in turn are teaching him how to box, and he literally fights like a Diaz brother. I mean, it's a little bit sloppy, it's not super technical, it's a little bit zombie forward, but in those kind of dirty boxing exchanges, he can be tough enough, and he does land shots. I mean, Cub was touching him up, but Cub at the end of that fight was all beat up as well because he is so good at that dirty boxing, and he is an absolute dog. And Charles Jourdain is a guy that is the better fighter. And if he stays at range, just kind of picks his parts and it kind of picks them apart, he can do exactly what Cub did. The issue is, Charles Jourdain loves to fight. This guy loves to get in those wars, the Sparta kicks, the crazy fights. And if Kron can get him in that type of fight, there is a world where Kron can kind of out dirty box him and maybe find a way to the ground. But as you mentioned, he doesn't really shoot takedowns. He is a little bit of a jiu-jitsu nerd down there when it comes to the non-wrestling aspect of it. And when he's on the ground, yes, he is a Gracie, but he's not like an automatic submission win type person, right? I mean, if you go to the ground with Mackenzie Dern, you're going to get submitted. If you go to the ground with Amanda Hebos, you're going to get submitted. If you go to the ground with Tabitha Ricci, you're going to get Ryan Hall, you're going to get submitted. But Kron Gracie is not one of those just automatic submission guys. So even if it goes to the ground, Charles Jourdain still might be able to survive. They even talked about in that Cub Swanson fight. Cub and him had a jiu-jitsu match, and Kron won, but it was 3-2. It was very close. Wasn't any submission. So I don't want people thinking that if this goes to the ground, it's an automatic submission. But Kron's a tough dude. He's a dog. He can dirty box just like the Diaz brothers, and Charles is a brawler as well. So Charles is a pick. He's the better fighter, but there is an outside world where Kron comes in and does enough to win this fight.
If he gets the wrestling going. I mean, Charles Jourdain.
I disagree. I literally explained that he can win in like dirty boxing and stuff. You just
I don't see that
put that to the side and said, nah, if he can run down.
All right, so Jacob's take, guys, is Kron Gracie wins a dirty boxing striking match against Charles Jourdain, and I'm the idiot. Okay,
he can. He almost did it against Cub. He had some great moments versus Cub.
Fight. Yeah, okay.
Apparently you didn't watch that fight.
Yeah, no, I did, and I saw the very clear unanimous decision and the stats. But yeah, he almost beat Cub.
He's a dirty boxer.
He almost
because Cub was picking him apart from distance. But if you watch those engaged in the pocket exchanges, Kron was winning a good majority of those.
Yeah, no, hey guys.
Yep.
Jacob is right. Kron Gracie's going to be the better boxer in this match.
This is going to be fun when he actually
Jacob's right.
This is going to be fun.
Jacob's right. Well, guys.
Can't wait to see this.
I mean, if you want to see Jacob's thousands of dollars worth of bets on Kron Gracie here, because he will be the better striker in this matchup, check out premium
say that.
Membership. Well, you said he's going to win the dirty boxing exchanges.
I think if Charles just goes in there and just brawls with them, there's a chance that Kron can come out on top, but I don't think that's going to happen and Charles is going to win. I just don't want you trying to mislead people. I said that Charles is going to win the fight.
Okay, but to be very clear, you said Kron Gracie will win the dirty boxing exchange. Anybody can win any fight, Jacob. That's not what you said.
I said if this is completely dirty boxing, there is a world where he can pull out a decision. Yes, he doesn't need. You said he absolutely needs wrestling to win. I disagree with that.
Okay, what's our bet on this fight?
I mean, how can you bet that? I have no idea. Go ahead and make some bullshit up and then call me a pussy for not taking it.
Well, we can just go by this.
Week after week. I will give you on some bullshit fucking nonsense bet that nobody would ever take, and then I'm a fucking pussy for not taking it. You clown.
Well, you are for a lot of reasons. We could just go by the stats, striking stats. I agree. It's hard to say who won striking exchanges, but
I'll know. You won't know. I mean, you obviously don't know how to judge striking exchanges, but
no, you're right, guys. Kron Gracie is going to win the dirty boxing exchanges. That's in quotes, and then tag it to Jacob.
Dirty boxing.
All right, that's the quote of the week. Kron Gracie will win the dirty boxing exchanges from Jacob Lyons.
I might make it my lock now. I'm pissed off.
You should. I mean, you want to show you have balls. That takes balls. Speaking of, next up at UFC 288, we have Movsar Evloev taking on Diego Lopes in a short notice
Dana
step
just
up.
came out. Bryce has hurt his back in training somehow in the last.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Dana just had a video about it. So
I bet.
Protecting his boy.
That is it. That is what it is. Because so Bryce Mitchell dropped. If you didn't know, Bryce Mitchell dropped a couple hours ago. We don't even have odds yet. Actually, can you see if there's odds right now, please?
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. There was no odds when we started filming an hour and a half ago, and Bryce Mitchell was in embedded. Back looked fine. No issues.
I'm
all
healthy.
Of a sudden,
Great camp. Worked hard this camp. I'm healthy. I'm feeling good. Ready to take this guy. He's been disrespectful to me. Clown.
guys, I went in on him on my Quick Picks video, and for him to just back out like this is very much.
He literally was going to be my lock of the week, which was not going to be very popular. But I literally thought that he could definitely win that fight. So I know a lot of people hate Bryce, but I was convinced that he was going to win that fight. He was going to be my lock of the week, and now here we are. Diego Lopes, lock of the week.
Yeah, so anyway, Movsar Evloev is undefeated in his career. He has 6 fights and 29 takedowns in the UFC. He's taken on UFC returner. He was in the Contender Series in 2021, but this is the first official UFC fight. Diego Lopes, 21-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight win streak coming into this, stepping up on just a couple of days' notice. Movsar Evloev is a wrestling beast, right? He's a fantastic wrestler. He does use his striking well to set up his takedowns. He's not diving at legs. He does set his takedowns up, and he does a really nice job. He'll send a long jab, he'll send a right, and he'll leave that out there, shuck your head, and then chase the leg, right? There's actual wrestling takedowns here.
Huh? Wow. Show it off.
And
get the leotard.
I just did.
No,
I
get
just
the leotard.
did.
Throw it on.
It's
I'll entertain him if you want to go put it on.
It's called a singlet.
You still have it though, right?
No, of course
Top
not.
drawer? Top drawer?
Why would I have a singlet?
It's still rubbed down from the nipple ring?
I told you my mommy ripped that out. Anyway, Movsar Evloev, nasty wrestler, but he does have nice striking as well, right? He's got somewhat technical striking. It's not amazing, but his striking is there, and he can piece you up. If you go back, look at the Grundy fight, he was taken down a bunch of times, and taken down a bunch of times, but was able to win that fight with the striking exchanges. The striking is what carried him in that fight because he had no takedowns.
I think Grundy had a total of like 11 total strikes landed.
Because he was shooting desperately, but Movsar was able to light him up on the feet. Got taken down, but I don't see that happening in this fight. He's taking on Diego Lopes. And it might be a new name, but it shouldn't be a new name because he fought on the Contender Series. He's been floating around on the regional scene since 2012. Very experienced guy. He did lose on the Contender Series to Joe Anderson Brito, and this poor bastard had to fight Joe Anderson Brito on a Contender Series fight, and now Movsar Evloev in an actual UFC fight. Like that's a rough stretch. 2 killers for different reasons. Style-wise, he's got solid BJJ. He's mostly using that BJJ when he's in trouble, press against the cage, but he's a well-rounded guy, and he's really loves to come forward, just bombing away, throwing heavy power shots. He's chasing finishes. His striking can get wild, and then he chases those finishes, but he keeps things in combinations, and he methodically works forward until he can uncork. Like, he will stay patient, working forward, and then as soon as he thinks he has his opening, he'll just bomb away like crazy. Doesn't use his wrestling too often, but it is there if he wants to. And then very, very, very slick, dangerous jiu-jitsu. Diego Lopes is very solid. I mentioned it sucks for him that this is his UFC debut on short notice. He has beaten, he can beat a lot of featherweights in the UFC, and he can actually have some success in this division, but I don't think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to get taken down essentially at will. This is going to be a 3-round decision because Movsar is not dangerous, doesn't put people away. Don't bet the under on this. But Movsar, whenever these odds drop, is going to be a massive favorite, as he should be. He's going to wrestle his way to a win here. What do you think, Jakey boy? Also, Jacob hates Movsar. What do you think?
Dream. Believe. And make it happen. And I believe it. That's exactly what Diego can do in this fight. Listen, I'm not really an Evloev hater per se. Obviously, he's had some boring fights. He's obviously a very skilled fighter, but he's not dangerous. I mean, the truth of the matter is, in the hands, he's not dangerous. In the grappling, he doesn't really even have great control. People do get up on him, and he has been getting in some trouble. You mentioned the Mike Grundy fight, the takedowns. He is susceptible to takedowns. That's the reason why it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, he is susceptible to takedowns. Bryce can take people down. He was the first person to ever take Ilya down in his MMA career, and Bryce has incredible top control, and Evloev really doesn't. So I figured that Bryce could scramble out positions, but I kind of see the same thing here. Now, this is a flyer, and this is going to be one of those inside the distance decisional action plays. I think this is one of the best places on the card because it's going to be wild. It's probably going to be plus 200, plus 300, plus 400, something like that. But this dude, Diego, does not stop, man. I mean, he is tough as shit, dangerous as shit. That Joe Anderson-Brito fight was wild. He almost had an arm bar, almost had him in a darce, almost had him in a knee bar. This guy is nonstop off his back, and mixing that in with the kind of lack of control that Evloev has at times, there could be some wild scrambles here. And he's slick too with the guillotines. Now, and I'm very anti-guillotine. You'll hear me on the live streams. Don't pull guillotine. You're just getting up on your back. But in this situation, though, as good as Diego is on his back, his best chance to win this, I think, is a Hail Mary submission. He's got some power in his hands, but I think Evloev can stay safe on the feet. He knows how to keep distance. He knows how to keep range. But I think Diego's got to pull guillotines and just try to work scrambles. And I think there is a world where he comes in, short notice, tough as shit, and finds a situation where he finds that Hail Mary submission. So it's not going to be a great pick. It's not going to be put a money line pick on Diego. I'm going to pick him because I hate Evloev. I am a little bit anti-Evloev, but I think that he finds that Hail Mary submission in a big moment for him. He's a tough kid, man, and he's nonstop off his back. I think he finds it inside the distance decisional action. I think is a play because Evloev's not dangerous. He probably most likely is going to lose a boring decision, but this dude's live, man. I mean, he is nonstop off his back. And I think there's going to be some wild scrambles.
Listen, I agree with everything you're saying except the pick, right? I agree with everything you're saying except the pick. I think Diego's tough, dangerous. The grappling's going to be sketchy. But I think we're going to get a whole lot of wrestling here. Go ahead, make the stupid noise again. Oh, Parlay Buster. Go ahead.
Buster.
Okay,
put
so
that on Twitter too.
Jacob's last couple of fights. Kron Gracie's going to be the better striker, and Diego Lopez is going to win. That's Jacob's breakdown.
I love my Brazilians
on this card. Anyway, I'm very confident in Movsar Evloev. Very confident. Yes.
And give me the odds.
We don't know what the odds are, so what do you want to bet?
I know, but whatever it is, I don't give a shit what it is. Well,
I don't want to wait for them. They might be minus 1,000. I'm not betting anybody minus 1,000.
Not as confident as we once thought 30 seconds ago, huh? I'm very confident, Mozart. All right, let's bet with the odds. Oh, well, if it's...
What are the odds? Name some odds.
What are the odds?
Do you want 3-1? I'll give you 3-1.
I want what the odds are. It's probably going to be plus 350, plus 400, whatever it is. Why are you being a pussy now? I'm very confident in Mozart.
We don't know what the odds are. Who would commit to a bet without knowing the odds?
Well, if I was very confident, I wouldn't give a shit. I don't know what they are, and I'm betting right now.
You don't give a shit about anything. You're telling people to pick
I don't know
Diego,
the odds either, and I'm willing to bet.
Win.
He could come in at -1 or plus 150.
Anybody's willing to bet is when you know it's going to be a massive underdog.
We don't know that. The guy's very dangerous.
If it's -500 or less, I will bet you. Okay? Do you accept?
Yeah, I said whatever it is. So you want to put a little stipulation on it for a little baby face over there. You fucking shit stain. Tickle shits.
$9,400 in DraftKings, and he's worth every penny because even though he doesn't finish anybody, the dude averages 6 takedowns and all the minutes of control time. I see more of that here. WeOnPicks.com.
Mike Grundy had him in a darce that submits 90% of the people.
Somebody had the best comment. Somebody had the best comment when you were doing almost. Okay. Diego Lopez almost won a fight that he didn't win. Congratulations. Great. Almost.
This will be fun.
Okay.
This is going to be fun for me.
You've paid me the last 5 times we've bet.
This is going to be fun for me.
I'm happy to take more. Yeah. Anyway, WeOnPicks.com. Become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. And you're going to see all of Jacob's incredible bets on this card. I actually do think you're inside a distance decision, no action. When that drops eventually.
I mean, we're trying to promote premium, then you just thought about just trashing all my bets sarcastically.
I was going to say all your phenomenal bets on this fight, but there are none yet because there's no odds.
I'm definitely putting a fucking unit on inside the distance decision.
I like that bet a lot. We obviously, again, There's no odds it doesn't
that's
exist.
Gonna be fucking plus 300, plus 350 at least. It's fucking working.
Probably because the odds makers, Mozavar is going to be a minus 1,000, and Diego Lopes, they're going to give him those odds. That's what you disagree. That's what they're going to do.
Minus 1,000. I think it's going to be minus 450 open, push to 550.
I think it's worse than that. I think it'll probably be minus 8, 9.
There's no way.
He was already
Diego's
a 3-1 favorite.
Man, I mean, he's not clueless. Jesus,
I hear
People
you.
know that he went the distance with the Jordans. That was short notice. He had him in multiple situations.
I'm not saying I would put the odds that way. I just think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, WeOwnPicks.com. Become a premium member. If you're already a premium member, link your Discord so that when those props drop and Jacob hammers it, you get an alert to your phone instantly. Because that's what's going to happen. That's the beauty of linking Discord. Premium is on the website, but we do have some private Discord channels that you can unlock. But the rest of the Discord is completely free and public, so join that and hang out. WeOwnPicks.com. Next up at UFC 288, we have Jessica Andrade taking on Yan Xiaonan. Jessica Andrade, 24-10 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that short notice loss to Erin Blanchfield. She's taking on Xiaonan Yan, 16-3 overall, 3-2 in her last 5, and she's coming off that win over Mackenzie Dern. And we all know who Jessica Andrade is, right? Former champion, contender at 2 different weight classes. Really has only lost to some of the best people on the planet. Comes forward, likes to bully. She'll bomb away, likes to clinch, slam you to the ground, drag you to the ground, just beat you up. She just big sisters when she wins, right? Big. She's not tall, but strong, powerful, solid BJJ, solid wrestling, good power in her hands. She's coming off that loss to Erin Blanchfield. She looked awful in that fight. She looked absolutely terrible in that fight. Was just throwing haymakers. Granted, if you remember, she fought, and was it a 1 week? Like, did she fight and then fought the next week, or it was like in between?
No, it was a little bit. She just took it on.
I think she fought on a Saturday.
February. It was 2 or 3 weeks.
I think it was she fought on a Saturday, and then the next Saturday they announced she'll be fighting.
Right now is the 21st and the 18th.
Okay. So anyway, when she's a bully, she beats the absolute piss out of people. When she cannot be the bully, she struggles. And she did look really bad in that Erin Blanchfield fight, but again, quick turnaround. She's taking on Xiaonan Yan. Xiaonan Yan's a very good boxer. She got well-timed strikes, clean technique, very technical. She will somehow get sucked into dirty boxing fights every now and then, but for the most part, she is a technical striker who will light you up. She, doesn't have 2 UFC losses. They were quality losses, Carla Esparza and then Marina Rodriguez, who's also a very technical striker we broke down. But she's pretty dominant in the UFC outside of those fights. Beat Claudia Gadelha, who's very good. Carolina Kovacevic a few years ago. Angela Hill, who we know is very well-rounded. And she likes to keep fights standing, outstrike her opponents. And I keep going 50-50 in this fight. I literally have picked both sides. Like, I do my notes, and I'm like, I got to go with Jessica. She's going to be more powerful, higher level experience. Should just be able to tough this to the ground. And if you get Xiaonan to the ground, you can have success. And then I watch the fight, and it's like, man, but Xiaonan is so technical. And Jessica looked so terrible in her last fight. Xiaonan can just touch her up, jab, dance around, keep her at bay. So I really am 50-50 down the middle. I don't know what to do here. If I have to make a pick, which I know I do, it's going to be Jessica Andrade because I think she may be able to drag Xiaonan to the ground. And then there is going to be a big gap there if she's able to do that. But if this stays standing, and she looks like she did in her last fight, which I don't expect because that was short notice, Xiaonan's going to light her up. So super razor-thin close fight. And if you're even considering Yan Xiaonan, that's incredible value at plus 185. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably, I guess, considered a Jessica Andrade hater for whatever reason. But
how could you hate her when she looked absolutely amazing against Erin Blanchfield? She looked amazing in that fight. Fucking terrible take that is. Sorry.
No, and I would say that even her wins, when you look at them, they don't really hold up. And I mean, she beat Caitlin Chukagian. It's like, okay, well, we know and I'm a Caitlyn hater as well. So we know that is what it is. Cynthia Calvillo, I mean, we know what she is now, so that doesn't really hold up. Amanda Lemos was that weird, just kind of fluke head and arm against the cage. I think Amanda would have knocked her out if it stayed standing. So that's a little bit of a fluke win there. And then Lauren Murphy. Anyone that has decent striking has just kind of lit her up. Wei Li finished her. Rose in the rematch was beating her up. It's a close fight, but was beating her up at times in that fight. Shevchenko beat her up. Erin Blanchfield is a wrestler. Yes, that was short notice. Yes, it was up in weight. Erin Blanchfield is a wrestler. She's a decent wrestler, but her striking is not great. And in the first round of that fight, what Angela was alluding to was lighting Andrade up. Yes, Andrade is going to have her moments because she just kind of blitzes forward and she's going to lay in power. But Blanchfield was lighting her ass up. And Blanchfield
not is not according to Mr. Savage. Mr. Savage
and Blanchfield is not a good striker. If you watch that first round, I mean, was snapping Andrade's head back. Andrade is basically like just trying to chase her down very, very wildly. If she does that, brings that same game plan in against Jan, she's going to get absolutely picked apart. I believe that Andrade is kind of that old school fight style, right? And that's been working for a long time, right? I mean, it was almost like the chocolate. I mean, all these guys that just kind of blitz forward and just kind of bully you. And she's been doing that, especially at 115, where this is fights at. But as people are getting better, those fight styles are kind of going out of the way. You're just going to get beat up on those entries by technical strikers. And Jan has been an underdog in like her last 3 fights. She was like a plus 250, plus 275 underdog against Marina and came in and really went toe-to-toe with one of the best strikers, pure strikers in the division. And you have to remember, too, that she is in that same camp as she's with Uriah Faber, the same camp as Team Afamel with Song Yudong. And we saw how sharp Song Yudong was looking against Ricky Simone. And I think this matchup is pretty much the same. Ricky Simone needs pressure. He needs to get you against the fence. He needs the takedown. Song Yudong, that was like a sparring match for him. He was so ready and so confident for everything that Ricky Simone was going to bring. I think the exact same thing happens here. Jan is going to come in with the footwork. It's going to be a lot of Jessica chasing. But Jan is so good with her footwork, and it's getting even better. She was completely embarrassed and demoralized by that Carla Esparza fight. Was completely dominated, and she said, I'm not going to let it happen again. She went. She's worked on it. You saw the Song Yudong make those same improvements, was getting out wrestled. Now he's having no issues with it. Jan is improving fast. I think she is one of those girls that can really make some noise in the division with her striking. I think she's the better striker than Andrade. Yes, she's going to have the power, but she's not really knocking people out these days. I mean, Cynthia, Caitlyn, I mean, that is what it is, but I think Jan kind of picks her apart on the entries, and this is a bad look for Andrade. Obviously, if she gets the fight to the ground, she can probably control it, but I think Jan picks her apart. It's mostly striking, and she's the better striker. I think Jan wins this fight.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I told you I was back and forth. The only reason I ultimately leaned Jessica is I do think she gets a few takedowns. But very quickly, just to revisit this, I'm a very petty, small person. Mr. Savage, 9000, said, dude, what are you talking about? Directed towards me. Jessica won the first round and pieced Blanchfield up. She looked amazing. Okay. First of all, I have the scorecards pulled up here. She lost the first round. She literally lost the first round on the judges' scorecards, okay? So that's an incorrect statement from you. Then if we just look at the stats, Erin Blanchfield landed more strikes in the first round, landed more significant strikes in the first round, 32 strikes to the head compared to 22 from Jessica. Landed, more strikes at distance, had the higher clinch work. And that's it's just a joke. It's just an absolute joke. People just say stupid shit, and they're not held accountable because they're not on video every week doing it day in and day out.
That's the same guy that was giving you shit about the height.
What?
The height on the whatever. Who was it? What fight was it?
No, that was Ernie. Ernie was like, what's the height difference? Literally,
this was last week when he said somebody's going to be higher. It was Norma Damon or something like that. Somebody's taller than your stats say, and you were like, oh, but my stats are right. And turns out she was shorter.
Okay, well, turns out he was dead wrong.
Damage scores more. Dude, she lost the fucking first round, man.
She literally lost.
Your scorecards don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter what you think. It's what the fucking judges think. Jesus Christ. Oh, she won the... No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
No, we're aligned here in that we think it's a super close fight. You ultimately leaned Janan because of the superior striking, which I completely agree with. I'm leaning Jessica because I think she'll squeak out a couple of takedowns and just bully. But Happy for Yanan to win. Plus 184 is insane value there. I mean, if you're considering Yanan to win, I mean, the money you're going to get on that is absolutely phenomenal.
She fights like when I was watching that fight, I went and rewatched the Marina Rodriguez fight today for different reasons. And damn it. And she fights like Song Yudong. I mean, the way she fights and like bouncy in and out, the footwork. I think it's going to look like the same like that Ricky Simone fight.
Yeah, it's going to be. This should actually be a really fun fight. Jessica Andrade is always in fun fights, and Yan Janan's a very good striker, so this should be a fun fight as well. So, yeah, I'm surprised to see the Andrade quick turnaround like this, but she lost by submission, so it's not like she has issues with her chin or anything like that. But either way, should be a good fight. Tons and tons of value on Yanan, and that line continues to move. Next up at UFC 288, we have the new co-main event. We got Belal Muhammad taking on Gilbert Burns. If you remember, this fight was just put together just a few weeks ago. This is short notice for both of these men. Neither one of them were scheduled to fight at all. And then they popped onto this card. Gilbert Burns making a quick turnaround, a couple of weeks. Belal Muhammad had literally nothing on the horizon as far as that was public at least. And they threw this fight together. And honestly, good for both of them, because Belal had nothing. And all of a sudden, yeah, I'll fight. And not only that, it takes a really tough fight when he could just sit and wait and potentially be, right there for a title talk. So he's not choosing to play it safe.
They literally both called each other's bluff. Both of these guys are like, I'll fight anyone, anytime. And they both said, oh, I bet you won't. And the other one's like, I bet I will. And then it's like, oh, shit, we're fighting. And then, oh, yeah. We're fighting 5 fucking rounds, too. Yeah. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, why is it 5 rounds? Why would they do that?
It's just I don't know.
It's not for anything, and it's short notice for both of them. Why the hell would they make this a 5-round fight? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Anyway, Belal Muhammad 22-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off the striking win over Sean Brady. He's taking on Gilbert Burns, 22-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the win over George Masvidal just a few weeks ago. Belal Muhammad, before his last fight, was a wrestling beast, just non-stop wrestling. Not everybody wants to make fun of him. He's boring. He's this, he's that. But that dude comes forward, working hard, looking to win fights. Racks up control time, throws his hands in your face, works towards your legs, gets the takedowns, controls from there. Was never really a dangerous guy, but always a busy guy, continuing to work forward. In his last fight, all of a sudden he's dangerous. He's just absolutely touched up Sean Brady. Didn't attempt a single takedown, didn't need it. He dismantled Sean Brady on his feet and was good to go, stuck with that game plan, got him out of there. Taking on Gilbert Burns. We know Gilbert. He's a 155-pounder that moved up to 170, kept all of his, actually not kept, somehow manages to have power even though he's sort of up in weight. He is a grappler first, but he has nice offensive takedowns. Fuck, I need water. He has nice offensive takedowns. He's not just a jiu-jitsu nerd or anything like that. He's got power in his hands. Not the most technical striker, but is a powerful guy who will come forward, is super tough. Personally, I think Belal Muhammad wins this fight. And I think it's because I know what I'm going to get with Belal. He's going to come forward. He's going to shoot. He's going to come forward. He's going to shoot. He's going to come forward. He's going to shoot. He didn't shoot on Sean Brady because he didn't need to shoot on Sean Brady. He didn't shoot on Damian Maia because he didn't need to shoot on Damian Maia. The difference between Sean Brady, Damian Maia, and Gilbert Burns is while all three of them are phenomenal at jiu-jitsu, Sean Brady and Damian Maia use their jiu-jitsu off their back. They will make things happen off their back. Gilbert Burns, yes, very good at jiu-jitsu. And everybody's like, why didn't Khamzat take him down? Khamzat refused to take him down because of his jiu-jitsu. No, he didn't. Khamzat was just trying to strike with him.
Having fun.
Yeah, and then when
his
he wanted
was
to
like,
wrestle...
take him down. And Khamzat was like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with he was afraid of Gilbert Burns' jiu-jitsu because, yes, Gilbert Burns is a black belt. And yes, he's submitting people, but not off of his back. Show me Gilbert Burns on his back in a fight doing anything meaningful. So I think Belal Muhammad's going to win this fight because I think he'll get the takedowns. And while we all love Gilbert Burns, I don't think he's going to have much to offer off of his back. And that's sort of the breakdown. I mean, it's just that simple. Gilbert Burns has all the power, could knock out Belal. But I think we can trust Belal to just dive at legs, get a takedown, and then hang out on top. And Gilbert's not going to really have anything to offer. And last week, couple of short notice fights. both of the short notice guys won. That was incredible. We almost never see that. But these people making these 2-3 week turnarounds have not been successful in the past. Just off the top of my mind, we talked about Jessica Andrade, Terrence McKinney, when he almost put out Drew Dober. Like, these people that come back super quick to save a card, to jump in right after fighting. Chris Curtis, when he went over to fight Jack Hermanson, it doesn't really work out for them. So I think that's working against Gilbert as well. But Belal's short notice. Ramadan could potentially be a thing, but he beat Luque during Ramadan, no issues whatsoever. What do you think, Jake?
I thought you were about to say he beat leukemia on. I was like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck,
looks like
fuck
it.
Is that? But I'm obviously everyone knows, if you don't know, I am a Belal hater. When it comes to being a Belal hater, that just means him as a fighter. He's a pretty funny dude, and he seems like a great guy outside the octagon. So I don't want to get twisted like I just hate the guy, but I hate his fighting style. A lot of people do, because he can be boring. I was very high on Sean Brady. I was very, very high on Sean Brady going to that fight, because I thought it was going to be a grappling affair, and I thought Sean Brady was going to be able to win those grappling exchanges. Turns out Belal got with Khabib, learned how to throw a jab, and just beat Sean Brady with a jab. But we now know that entire camp is complete frauds in the striking department. And Sean Brady is not a good striker. And yes, Belal was piecing him up, but he's not a good striker. But if you rewatch that fight, and yes, I know Sean got TKO'd and he got finished in the second round, but in that first round of that fight, even with Belal controlling the distance, controlling pressure, Sean Brady was landing some good shots. I mean, he landed 4 or 5 shots that if Gilbert is landing those same shots, it is going to be night for a guy like Belal Muhammad. And Belal Muhammad needs to be the pressure guy. He needs to be the guy moving forward. For the takedowns, he needs to be moving forward. He needs to get you against the cage and then work the takedowns from there. For his striking, he needs to be moving forward, working the jab. Gilbert Burns is not going to let him be the one moving forward. I mean, Gilbert Burns in every single one of his fights is the guy that is moving forward. He's going to be crowding the wrestler. The jab isn't going to be there. Belal is going to be circling away. The last guy that did that and kind of picked him apart was Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards absolutely was just embarrassing this guy Belal Muhammad in the striking. And I believe Gilbert Burns can just kind of pressure this guy forward and land those big shots that you've seen, and maybe use some offensive wrestling as well, because Gilbert is really, really cleaned up. He used to be kind of just that jiu-jitsu guy, but his offensive wrestling is good, his top control is good, his takedown defense is good. So if he's just moving forward against Belal Muhammad is not going to have the space to shoot those takedowns. He's not shooting takedowns and getting them against Gilbert Burns off his back foot. He's not that good, and Gilbert Burns is so high level that those kind of takedowns are not going to work. He's got to be the one moving forward, and maybe he's able to get respect early with the hands. Maybe he does get that jab pumping. Maybe he stings him a little bit, and then he can control it. If he is up on top, yes, he can win this fight. If he can have top control and win this fight, but Gilbert Burns is going to be the one pressuring him in this fight. He's going to be able to touch him. He's going to be able to maybe mix in some takedowns on his own, and Gilbert Burns is going to control this fight and win this fight. I'm pretty high on Gilbert Burns. I think it's just a bad matchup for Belal. He probably does beat most of the guy in the division because he can't out-wrestle him. I don't think he can out-wrestle Gilbert, and therefore he's going to lose.
Yeah, it's funny. The chat is so split on this fight. Oops. The chat is so split on this fight. Like, nobody is agreeing. What the hell? Oh, I did these out of order. Oh, well. Nobody agrees. And it's so funny watching people argue in the chat, because it's never like, oh, I understand your point, but you're an idiot. You don't know anything. Belal sucks. He's going to get knocked out. Oh, Gilbert Burns is the worst fighter that's ever existed. He got knocked out by a 145-pound Dan Hooker. Nobody's reasonable. I'm going to be reasonable with you. Gilbert Burns could absolutely win this fight. Of course he could win this fight. It's very possible. Gilbert Burns
is with you. Belal Muhammad cannot win this fucking fight. And you're an idiot, so.
You genuinely believe Belal can't win this fight? Because the line movement says otherwise.
That guy's awful.
You're not worried about
Sean Brady. It's like, wow, congratulations. That can't.
He doesn't. Sucks. I'm not. Who's talking about his striking? I didn't mention his striking once in why I think he would win. Not one time.
Well, I'm just talking to the general public. It's more than you watching this video.
Okay. Not really. Viewership's pretty bad. Well, we're split. I'll bet this fight even money, $100.
Okay. Look at this guy.
All right.
Doesn't want to take the. I guess you could take the. Never mind.
Idiot.
$100.
Yeah.
I was about to really Thank God I stopped myself, because I was really about to be like, oh, look at this guy. All of a sudden, the odds don't matter. Yeah. But $100 even. That's fine.
I heard it going, and I'm like, okay, fine. Force me into taking the odds, you dumb bastard. So, all right. $100 on this fight. We'll be watching it live together. I'll be sure to record your reaction, and while you hand me the money, bring cash. It's better for the video. But I'm not going to die on my shield. Gilbert Burns could absolutely win this fight, landing a big shot. I just think Belal's going to be diving at legs, and that's going to be a problem for Dorino. 8,000, 8,200. It's 5 rounds, and it's almost even money. I think you got to have your side here. If Belal wins this fight, he's going to score a gazillion points with takedowns and control time. And if Gilbert wins this fight, it's probably stoppage, right?
Hope so.
So, DraftKings probably a safe play.
And Gilbert cut his hair, by the way, which is unfortunate.
It was wild that it grew out like a straight-up afro. Good for him. It was wild.
It's cut now.
Well,
I thought he was going to grow it out and braid it. If he had, imagine he with braids in, holy shit, that would look incredible, dude.
Sean Brady,
Gilbert
Brazilian
Burns with fucking braids. Oh my god, that would be terrifying. That's what I thought he was going to do.
A Brazilian Sean O'Malley. But
man, that would have been incredible.
Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member. $10 a month. Unlock literally everything. All our bets, all our picks. Artem's bets. Artem's picks for all events, including the huge ONE FC fight card on Friday. DraftKings Optimizer, DraftKings Plays, Fantasy Prop Games, all of the things.
And we forgot to mention
a month.
Belal's main training partner for this camp, which I think we need to mention.
Go ahead.
Jessica Pena. Same camp. And we know how high level she is.
Yeah. Juliana Pena, you mean?
Oh, what did I say? Jessica Pena?
Yeah. You said Jessica Pena, and then, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. About the same level.
Next up at UFC 288, we have the main event of the evening. We have a fight that has been in the works. We've been doing it for 2 hours. Your fat ass dog's getting its second meal. Actually, that's less than 2 hours. It's 1:59. Time's a little off. Anyway, Aljamain Sterling taking on Henry Cejudo. This fight has been developing for, over a year now? Something like that. And it's actually awesome that it finally came together. We got current champion Aljamain Sterling, 22-3 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding an 8-fight win streak. He's taking on Olympian Henry Cejudo, 16-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, coming back after 3 years away, and he didn't lose. He left as high as he did. 2 division champ, left. Literally left, vacated both belts at the same time. It was incredible. And I'm a huge Henry Cejudo fan. Yeah, I'm a huge Henry Cejudo fan. I've been following Henry Cejudo's career long before he was in the UFC.
Well,
anyway.
Nerd.
Okay.
That's more of a nerd thing than opening cards.
Sure is.
I follow wrestling.
You're right.
You actually invited me over to watch the college. You want to come over and watch the college wrestling national championships? Fucking no.
Okay. Cool. No, you're too cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Awesome.
Keep this moving.
Henry Cejudo, as everybody knows, Triple C, because he's an Olympian and then has 2 belts in the UFC. Triple C, triple champ. And that's what he is. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a champion. He figures out how to make things work. He also has very good striking, right? He put out a couple of people before he retired. Before he was gone, he was knocking people out. Clean striking, fast, became dangerous later in his career, and obviously, as we know, an incredible wrestler. He's taking on Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling, not an incredible wrestler, right? He gets takedowns, he backpacks people, but he's not an incredible wrestler. Aljamain Sterling's striking, just okay. He's actually turned into more of a striker as of late in his career. He's got that sort of long, sort of in and out striking style. He does a good job with his footwork, good job managing range. Why are you making a face? He likes to come in and out like this.
You're saying that Aljo is turning into a striker?
If you look at his stats and if you look at his career, he started as just wrestle. And then in his last 3-4 fights, wrestling isn't game plan number 1. Okay, fuck off. You do your breakdown in a second, stupid Muppet. He has 8 takedowns in his 3 title fights, including 3 against Jan, 5 against TJ. And that's because TJ had 1 arm and it was very easy to get him to the ground. And that's the problem with Aljamain Sterling. There's an asterisk next to every single one of these wins. He played up the knee, faked an injury, faked the illegal knee, whatever it was, to win the belt. Then won what a lot of people think was a controversial decision. Then he just beat a dude with 1 arm. Obviously not his fault. He went out there, beat the shit out of him. He's not a judge, so it's not his fault if you think he got a bad decision. But there's an asterisk next to every single one of his wins. I love Henry Cejudo. I want Henry Cejudo to win this fight. But to ignore 3 years away is troublesome. And, have you seen that handshake video floating around?
What are you going to say? Aljo is so big.
He's fucking huge, dude. He's
a weight
fucking
bully.
huge.
He literally is a weight bully.
Great. Okay, fine.
He's
absolutely. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, because I'm not trying to, and he does it well. He's absolutely tremendous. And Henry Cejudo might have a little bit of trouble. So I think Aljamain Sterling is going to win this fight. I want Henry Cejudo to win this fight. I would love for Henry Cejudo to win this fight. I will be rooting for Henry Cejudo. But I think Aljamain Sterling is going to be too big. He's been too active. And I think, stepping in there for the first time in 3 years, immediately into a title shot to literally the biggest person in this division, the biggest person he's ever fought, I think he's going to look a little slower. I think he's going to, the timing's going to be a little off. Henry Cejudo's fight IQ is absolutely through the roof, so I hope he puts that together. Aljamain's the pick, but everything I want Cejudo to win big time. What do you think?
Let me just first start by saying I'm not an Aljo hater. I think Angela knows as well. I'm not. I picked Aljo to win both the Piotr Jan fights.
I am. So
right, and I picked Aljo to win both the Piotr Jan fights. Exactly what we did. I also picked Leon to win both the Usman fights. The only person in the world to go 4-0 on those picks. So I'm not an Aljo hater. I like Aljo. He's a great guy, and he's definitely got skills. I mean, on the ground, he is an absolute animal, and that's why I picked him against Piotr Jan. I thought he could. He could get the takedowns that he didn't get in the first round in the second fight, and that's exactly what happened. But as a striker, he is just very lackluster. I mean, he's not super tactical. They like to say, and even in the breakdowns and the lead up, he's an unorthodox striker. Aljo is unorthodox.
Yeah, that just
striking.
means you suck.
Yeah, that just means you don't know what the hell you're doing. And it's not even like he throws wild stuff with power. Everything is pillow fisted. The kicks are kind of weird. It's kind of half-ass kicks. Against Piotr Jan in that first fight, especially, he was doing wild spinning stuff and just falling down after he's striking.
It was embarrassing.
I mean, Henry Cejudo is the better striker in this matchup. I don't think there's any question about that. And if you're arguing that, I think you're just, I don't know what you're watching. If I could copy and paste the Henry Cejudo from 3 years ago and drop him into this fight, I think he dominates. I think he absolutely dominates his fights. I think that there's no threat in the offensive wrestling from Aljo, and he just absolutely dominates the striking exchanges. But 3 years off is a red flag. Physically, he looks fantastic. You see him in the embeddeds. I mean, he looks fantastic physically, and it seems like he's been training for a year for this fight. It's what he says. He's been coaching. He's been training, ready for a fight. So it's not like this was, 6 weeks ago, oh, I'm coming back, and now I'm going to fight, and I'm going to try and make it all work in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. So he has been training. So I think physically he's going to be fine. But at 36, sometimes you do slow down. I think he can win the striking exchanges, and Aljo's takedowns, to me, aren't good enough to take down a guy like Cejudo. So I'm going Cejudo in this matchup. I think Aljo, with his takedowns, he's not an explosive double leg. He's not an explosive single and then cut the angle and this and that. He gets the single, he drives you to the fence, and he works you from there. It's methodical, right? And he works. I mean, he can get takedowns against other people, the trips and this and that. But against a guy such high level in Cejudo, I just don't think he can get the takedowns. But weird things happen. Cejudo has that karate style that he goes to. He throws a lot of kicks. He has great leg kicks. If all of a sudden a leg kick's caught, there's a scramble, something weird happens on the ground, and Aljo gets this dude back, of course he can submit this guy. Of course he can backpack this guy and submit this guy. He can submit anybody, almost in the UFC probably. Aljo is very good on the ground and is a submission threat at all times. So yes, if there's a weird scramble, Aljo ends up on his back, he can submit this guy. But as far as just coming in, shooting a takedown, taking him down, I just don't see that path to victory for Aljo because I think his takedowns are very, very overrated and too methodical for a guy as high level as Henry. So I think this is mostly striking, and Henry is the way better striker in this matchup, but I fully understand the threat that Aljo possesses if there is a weird scramble on the ground. So I'm going Henry Cejudo in this matchup. I like Aljo. I might even be rooting for Aljo, even though I have my bets. I kind of hedged it in the way. Premium members know what it is. I got a big bet on Henry Cejudo this week, and I think he gets it done. I'm not surprised that he flipped to the favorite. I got him when he was a dog. He's a favorite now. We'll see how it plays out. Closing odds.
Yeah, listen, I agree with everything in that, except I think Aljamain can get the takedowns, but not clean takedowns in the middle of the cage. I think he can get Henry against the cage and literally just big brother him. Pick him, literally can pick him up.
I agree with that he is so big that maybe he does just kind of muscle him. Maybe he does just muscle him to the ground, but
he can straight up pick him up. You wrap your hands around the butt. Just pick, what's Henry's going to do?
No, I watched a TikTok that when somebody grabs you around the back like this, and they're trying to pick you up, you spread your legs and you make your base. So you're doing like this, and they have their arms around like this, and with like that they can pick you up. But if you spread your legs, boom, and make your base. And then what you do is, I think you lean into a way, and you can scoop that person's leg, and then you take them down like this. So don't be surprised if you see Henry, if he's in that kind of like seatbelt body lock. You make your base like this with the legs. You duck the shoulder under, and then you take and you slam. So that would be my advice for Henry. I saw it on TikTok.
Congratulations. Yeah, real solid. Or you could just hook the leg and not get lifted. Anyway, I think he gets picked up against the
kid. Yeah, they have you trapped like this.
You hook the leg with your foot, you muppet.
No, you make your base.
That's how you don't get thrown. You literally just...
Yeah, you make your base.
That's how you don't get picked up. Anyway... what an absolute fucking shit show. We're on opposite sides, but I think we both agree this is a super close fight. DraftKings, you get the very rare split down the middle, 8,100. You almost never see that. That's very, very rare. So pick your side. It's 5 rounds, and I imagine, it's 5 rounds of 2 little guys. There's going to be some scoring here. I don't think it's going to be pitter-patter strikes. I do think there's some level of wrestling, either from Henry or from Aljamain. I think Aljamain personally is going to bully against Cage, get the takedowns. Jacob thinks that won't happen, and Henry's going to light him up on his feet, which could happen. And I completely agree with your statement where you said, if this was Henry from 3 years ago, this isn't even close. Henry from 3 years ago, this should be minus 300, but it's not. What's up?
And then a lot of people, and I've seen this before, that, Henry's just doing this for the money. He's just doing this for the money, this and that. I believe Henry when he comes out and says, listen, I want to come out and put my name on the record books. I want to be like Jordan. I want to be this. I want to be known as the greatest of all time. He's a lifelong competitor, man, and you don't lose that burn. And I think this is a competition thing for him. And obviously the money's good. I mean, he's going to get paid for it. What it is. But he's just such a competitor. I believe that this truly is a competitive fighter. He's not just doing it for the money.
No, I don't think so. And he's got incredible fight IQ. Somebody said he's one of the best coaches out there right now, and he absolutely is. Look at the people coming out of his gym. John Jones, for fuck's sake. Obviously, he didn't make John Jones who he is, but... What?
Well, it's funny because he actually worked John Jones. There's video of him working through that exact same position that Gane was in. He was like, you don't need to do this. Just do this. And that's how John won the fight. But the interesting part is, and yeah, you mentioned he worked with Figgy, he worked with Wei Li. Who was the other one? He was working with Gastelum too, right? I think he was working. With Gastelum was looking great. But it's funny because John Jones won that fight and thanked everyone except for Henry. And I think Henry was a big part of that camp and game planning and stuff. He literally thanked everyone except for Henry. So
that's funny. What an asshole. Anyway, you know our sides. You know how we feel. Let us know how you feel in the comment section.
Oh, Jiri. Another one. Yeah.
Well, his arm's fucked. Anyway, become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. You'll get literally everything you could ever imagine. We do pretty well on pay-per-views. We're up 23% net profit for every pay-per-view this year. That's 29.9 units of net profit. If a unit for you is $10, we're not even halfway through the year. We're only 5 months into the year, and you would have $299. If a unit was $10, you'd have $299. Congratulations to you. Pay-per-views have done well for us. I imagine this one will be more of the same. But it's not just copy-paste bets. We have tools. We have the line movement tracker. There are 2 different fights on this card, open as big underdogs, closing as big favorites. And that movement, whether lines are closing, lines are widening, that is very insightful movement to give you ideas or give you, honestly, a lot of what we do is tell you who to stay away from. The reason we made money at UFC Vegas 72 is because we avoided the landmines. We were not overly committed to any of those favorites that lost. And there was a lot of favorites that lost this past week. And the line movement tracker can help you do that as well. The trends tend to be pretty accurate. We also have all sorts of other data and analysis and metrics and interactive charts and things like that to help you find your spots. And it's not just us. We also have Artem. Artem is breaking down fights, giving detailed...
Another shrimp on the barbie.
He's from New Zealand, not Australia. Detailed breakdowns on non-UFC fights as well. He has a whole huge, ridiculous write-up on ONE FC, which is Friday. He's doing Cage Warriors. He's doing LFA. He's doing Bellator, PFL, all of these other organizations where there are always very nice spots to be had. And if you sign up for premium, use his code ARTEM so that he gets paid.
Dingo ate me, baby.
We accept credit cards. And if you want $50, I will send you $50. WeWantPicks.com/bet. Sign up with any one of our betting partners using our links. Make a deposit. I send you $50 as a thank you. Jakey boy, any last words?
Friday night, the big pack opening. We got some more packs to open as well, but this one we're looking for apparently the Hasbulla cards that could be in this box are going for $25, $50, $100,000 fucking dollars. That's not even a joke, Angelo. Isn't that a joke? But it's not a joke. So if we pull one of those Friday night, we're going for some helicopter dig. I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right. Well, join Jacob on Friday. I mean, I don't know how you're all going to tell your amazing wives and girlfriends, but join Jacob on Cinco de Mayo Friday night.
Maybe I get some Modelos, huh?
Anything to make you happy, bud.
Anything?